Alright, so are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. Today we're back with day 3 of the 2025 Women's Euros, and today we kick off Group C with a banger. It's Denmark taking on Sweden, two sides who look at that second spot in the group with a lot of opportunity to go and claim it, Harry. This game should be a good one.
Yeah, very much so. As you say, we've already had some brilliant action across this European Championships. The games are flying by, thick and fast. We've seen 4 really good contests. So I think that's going to be backed up again tonight. This is going to be a really close game. Two very good sides with some world-class players, amongst their ranks. I can't call this one. I think it's going to be a really tight game. Both sides who will have ambitions to go deep at this tournament and to do well, both for different reasons, but both wanting similar results. They'll also understand the importance of the fixture this evening, with Germany in the group who are expected to win all the games, and Poland who everyone expects to beat. It's going to be tight between these two for that second spot in the group. So this game for me is massively important for whoever wants to reach the knockouts.
Yeah, definitely. It's a game where Germany are the most likely team to go through, but Sweden will look at this group, I think, as an opportunity. They'll look at Poland as a very winnable game. They'll look at this game, which they should be able to claim victory in, and then they'll look at the Germany game as one where, if they're optimistic, maybe they'll be able to turn up and win that match as well. So, yeah, second the group is very attainable for Sweden. They'll look at top of the group as an opportunity as well. Are we all stable, Harry?
We're all
Fantastic to see. Let's get into the lineups then for this game. We'll start with Denmark then. Where are we today? We are in the lovely city of Carouge in Switzerland. Let's have a look then at the Denmark side. So for Denmark, it's going to be a 3-4-3. In goal, Ostergaard. A back three of Ferge, Pedersen and Katrina Weyer. Across the four, Thorgerson, Holmgaard, Snurler and Holmgaard. And a front line then of Thompson, Vangsgaard and Harder. So interesting then to see this Denmark team. A bit of a change in midfield. We've not seen lots of Karen Holmgaard playing for the national side. So it'll be interesting to see how she fits into this Denmark team. But overall, quite a solid setup.
Yeah, it is a nice team. I think they play some good football. There's a reason that Andre Jeglerts has just been appointed the Man City manager. So a big tournament for him and his Denmark side. But yeah, I think they play really nice football. They set up in a really good balance between not being too defensive but not being too aggressive, which really works because I think it suits where they kind of sit in the pecking order, because they aren't one of the worst sides of the tournament, but they're not quite in that bracket of being one of the best and one of the most dangerous. So I think that they set up well, and they understand their strengths, but they also understand their own weaknesses. So I think they play really good stuff. I have to say, that front three is very, very dangerous. That is a front three that is full of goals and full of quality. Yeah. And if Denmark can get them on the ball, then they could really make a difference in this football match.
Well, I think any attackers that can bench Signe Bruna have to be incredibly quality players. And that is someone coming off bench, Signe Bruna, who can come in and have a huge impact for Denmark. So clearly a very strong attack. And let's have a look then at the Sweden side. Sweden are a team who've never been knocked out in the group stages of a European Championships, and they're the only side that have been to every single tournament. So a lot of pressure on this side to maintain that record. In goal, it's Falk, a back four of Lundqvist, Bjorn, Sembrant and Andersson. Across the three, it's Angeldal, Captain Aslani and Olma, and a front line of Karnrid, Blacksenius and Janogy. So no Fridolina Rolfo, no Magdalena Eriksson. What impact does that have on this Sweden team?
It's going to be pretty big. They are two world-class players who are still playing at the very top level and have been playing at the top level for a considerable amount of time now. So they are two big misses, and that's unfortunate for Sweden. But still, without them, it is a top quality side. They are a side that, for me, I feel like they go a bit under the radar, but when they get to tournaments, when they get to the games that it matters, they really turn up. I thought they were mightily impressive in qualifying because they were in a very difficult group with France and England, and although they had to go through the playoffs, they only finished 2 points behind England in that group. They gave France and England a real run for their money. So I think they look really sharp in those. And then when they get round to tournaments, Sweden deliver. Last World Cup, they went and shocked the USA with an absolute brilliant game, and then went and beat them on penalties. And that's the kind of quality that Sweden possess, and that's why they'll be looking at games like today and expecting to get through it, expecting to get out of the group, because they are a side that has the quality to really challenge the best sides in the world. And that's not just because Norway also have the ability to do that, but that's just Norway on paper.
Denmark.
Sorry, no.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Norway do when we speak about the quality they've got. I think it's pretty similar to Sweden. They've got world-class players in there. They've got top quality players who are playing in the highest leagues in the world, but they don't deliver when it comes down to it. But Sweden do, and they've done that for year on year in the last few tournaments. And I think that this year they'll be looking to go deep once again. They were semi-finalists in 2022. I think they're pretty unfortunate that they came up against a very good England side. Should they have lost 4-0 in that semi-final? Probably not, but they still reached the last four. They reached were they semi-finalists again in the World Cup, or at least quarter-finalists? And then this Euros they'll have the ambition to keep the good runs going.
Yeah, I think my problem with the Sweden side that are playing today is that a lot of the consistent performers aren't there. You've got a lot of players like Sina Blackstenius, Joanna Rytting-Kaneryd. They're players that in their games are excellent. That's even extending that to players like Natalie Bjorn. I think on their day they're fantastic players, but without your consistent performers, your Fridolina Roppers, your Magdalena Erikssons, and without, I think both of those players bring a huge amount of leadership and communication to this team. I think that will be a big miss for Sweden. So they've still got Kosovo Asllani, a massive leader in midfield, and Linda Sembrant's coming in as a very experienced player. So I don't think they'll miss that in the back line. I do worry they're going to lack a little bit of organisation in the back line and definitely a bit of pace in the back line. But I don't think it's going to be too big a loss, but we'll see how it plays out. I think it depends on how the other players perform. If players like Kaneryd and Blackstenius don't step up today, then Sweden will struggle to get the result over the line. Yeah,
I think what tonight does is it presents a massive opportunity for someone like Natalie Bjorn to step up as a real figure in this Sweden 11. As you say, without Eriksson, you lose that organisation in the back line. Well, this is the chance for Natalie Bjorn to step up into that more leadership role, take control of that back line and make sure that they are organised and it is running as a well-oiled machine. I think the reason why Sweden do so well is they are propped up by a brilliant midfield. It's Asllani, Angeldal and Olma today, isn't it? I mean that is just a brilliant midfield three, and that is why I think they do so well, because we mentioned it with Portugal last night, and you see it with other sides where they've got really good frontline players and they're very good at defending, but they just lose that battle in the middle of the park. Sweden don't do that. They dominate the ball in the middle there. They have control. They've got three very combative midfielders, three midfielders that I think can all go both ways, which is, Asllani is probably more aggressive than she is defensive, but overall they can all drop in. But I just think overall the midfield conductors in there massively help this side. It's just that big question, like you said, if they are going to create chances today, will Kaneryd and Blackstenius be on it today, and will they manage to finish those off? That will be the difference, I think, between whether Sweden win this game or whether Denmark win this game.
And also, my other question: Sweden coming into this game as the oldest team at this Euros. I think average age of 29.4.
Wow.
So they're quite an aging side. Now, will that have an impact? Will they fatigue towards the end of games? That's what I've got the big question of over Sweden at this tournament. I mean, that is skewed by the fact you've got players like Linda Sembrant, who are mid-30s now, Asllani as well, mid-30s, but it's not ideal to go into a tournament with one of the oldest squads there, because you may get outworked by other teams at it. Sweden, though, is still incredibly strong and should still be favourites heading into this game. And let's get into predictions then. HB, Phil, Amir, Ryzen, all of you, welcome to the stream. It's good to see so many faces in chat. And this is your chance to get involved. If you're watching along, get involved in the live chat. Give us your score prediction now. We're going to start here with our predictions in the studio. I'll start with yourself, Harry. What is your prediction for this game as the players make their way out of the tunnel?
I think it'll be a close one. As you say, Sweden, I think they'll play the better side. They'll dominate the ball. They will have more control. But Denmark, they're a very solid defensive unit. And I look at that Sweden front line, and they've got players in there that are prone to missing a lot of chances, and I do think that could potentially hinder Sweden today. So I think it'll be a close game. I'm going to go for a draw. I think it's one of those where Sweden will have control, but Denmark will just hang in there and then manage to nick something because that's what the quality they've got. So I think that I'll go 1-1. I think it'll be another really close game. Not too many goals, really. A little bit cagey to start off with, but Sweden will take control. I think it'll be a Stina Blackstenius goal in the first half to give Sweden the lead. They'll then keep the pressure on. They'll miss a few chances, not put the game to bed, and then Pernille Harder will step up in this Denmark side and level the game for her nation. And I think that both sides will take a point from today.
Fair enough. That would certainly create a bit of jeopardy in the group for Sweden if they were to drop points on this in this game. I'm going to go similarly cagey, but I think Sweden will edge it. I'm going to say Denmark 1, Sweden 2. The smart suggestion here, the smart prediction would be to go 1-0, because that is how pretty much every game in this tournament's been so far. But I think it will be a tight affair, and it'll be 2-1 Sweden. I'll say a goal for Karneryd, Blackstenius, and then who else but Pernille Harder for Denmark, the talismanic figure in that side. Predictions coming in from the live chat. Philly saying Sweden 4-1. HB going 2-1 Sweden, so similar, same prediction as me there. HB, Phil going for quite the victory for Sweden, but keep those coming in. Poland chat very much siding with Sweden right now. 80% see Sweden is winning this game. 12% going for a draw. Only 8% think Denmark will win. Bit of a surprise for you there, Harry?
Yeah, I think so. I think what can happen in football is that people, because I agree. If you look at the 2-11s, I think Sweden they have more well-known names, they have better quality. But as we've seen two things at this tournament, is that A, having more well-known names doesn't necessarily mean you look stronger. But also B, I think that managers can really make the difference. And yes, Denmark may not have the quality, but Jäglert is a top coach. There's a reason he's coming over to WSL next season. He is a very good manager. He's good at reading the game and understanding the position his side are in. And that is why I think it will be difficult for Sweden to score. They'll find it hard to break Denmark down. Unless Denmark make errors or start slow like Portugal did last night, I think it will take time for Sweden to get the breakthrough. And it really depends who turns up for Sweden, because you could have a Girelli-esque performance where your older experienced players don't turn up and perform, or you could have an Esther Gonzalez-like performance who was absolutely brilliant last night, became the first NWSL player to score at the Euros, I believe. And delivered for her nation. It really depends what versions of Sweden you're going to get today. But I just think Denmark will hang in there. I think they're a very good side, and I think Jäglert is a top coach. So that if they go out there and they execute the game plan perfectly, then I think they could be in good stead. I think the ball from Sarah Holmgaard out on that left wing back is very dangerous today. You've got a lot of players in there that you can aim for. Pernille Harder, one of the best headers of a ball in the women's game, although she's playing on the same side as Holmgaard, I think. But you've still got Vangsgaard in there. You've got plenty of players for aim for, and I think Holmgaard had a brilliant season for Everton. If she can have a really good Euros as well, that could be key for Denmark. We've seen if you get out wide and spread that pitch and stretch the opposition, you can really make a good go of it, especially against a Sweden side who we said may lack a little bit of organisation without Magdalena Eriksson.
Yeah, fair enough. I will say, I think me predicting Sweden to win in the pre-show is usually a bad sign, bad omen for these teams. I don't think I've got a single prediction right yet this tournament, apart from Spain winning. So, yeah, just whatever I say, expect the opposite. Ryzen says, I want a Karneryd mid-volley, but I'll settle for a Karneryd chop. Yeah, that would be good. Peter Sweden, welcome to the stream. I don't know who he's supporting, but he's gone for a 2-0 Sweden win there. So
I think you might be a Denmark fan.
You can't be sure.
Yeah, you can never be sure nowadays.
Phil Stina with a brace, Yanogi and Karneryd, and then Harder for the Denmark goal. So his 4-1 prediction there. We'll see what's going to happen then. Kick-off getting underway shortly. This is going to be a really good test of these two sides, just how good they're looking coming into this tournament. We did see a precursor for this game only a few weeks ago where Sweden beat Denmark 6-1, but I don't think that tells us a lot about how this game will play.
Denmark are much better than that. That game, it was to be fair though, we said the same about Portugal, Spain, and look what happened. But yeah, I think Denmark, they are better than that, and they will show that on the bigger stage. They've got players who do rise to the occasion and will perform for their country today.
Yeah.
At least I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully so. I also think every football game should be hosted in Switzerland just for the views.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning. The other thing I think Denmark have got, which I think has let a couple sides down, but we saw it with Italy, it was absolutely crucial, is the squad depth. The ability for players to come on and make a difference. I look at that Denmark bench and they've got Catalina Kuhl on that bench. They've got Signe Bruno who can come in. They've got Rika Madsen. These are established players playing at a decent level. So I think that would keep. Obviously, Sweden have also got an incredible bench. You've got Rolfo on Jakobsen, Hurtig, Eriksson, Nilden. There's so many players on that
Bangerheim,
bench.
who's had a fantastic season this year, could come in and have an impact in this game.
And again, we say, I think these are two. This is why I think both sides could do well. The unfortunate thing is that they've both been drawn against each other and Germany. So I just don't see a way in which both these sides get through, which is unfortunate because they've both. When you look at that Euro checklist as to who should go deep in the tournament, I think both these sides tick it, especially Sweden. You don't win it. I always say you never win the Euros or do well at Euros where you're starting 11. You do well with your squad, and both these sides have got a very decent squad. I think they've both got a really good balance of. Well, Denmark got a better balance of it, but experienced players mixed with young and exciting talent. So I think these are two sides that could do really well.
Yeah.
I think they're a bit unfortunate, especially in Denmark, or whoever loses today is going to be the unfortunate one that will probably go on to miss out, which is a shame because I think these are two really good sides.
Well, it's one of those where I think if either side were in Group A, they would probably win. They'd probably top the group.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough. They've been handed a difficult group with Germany in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit of confusion here before kickoff. Denmark goalkeepers ran towards our own net.
Got better things to do.
Forgetting that, of course, there will be a minute's silence ahead of kickoff. And this moment's silence, of course, in remembrance of Diogo Jota. We woke up to the tragic news yesterday of his passing. And we saw nice tributes yesterday from the Portuguese fans in their game against Spain. And again, we'll see a moment's silence before the games today as a mark of respect to someone who was a huge advocate of women's football and a brilliant player as well, of course, Diogo Jota. But yeah, nice moments silence here to pay respect. And then we'll get into today's game as Denmark look to take on Sweden.
I have to say, I'm also glad that UEFA have allowed the rainbow armbands now. Is it FIFA don't, do they?
FIFA have banned it.
Shock.
I know.
FIFA doing that? No way. But no, I think it's a good touch that UEFA have kept those in, and I think every side has used it and worn it with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true. Good job, Corbin Albert isn't playing at this summer's Euros, hey? That's why FIFA can't have it. Just because of Corbin Albert.
But yeah, it's important Denmark start fast hit because we've seen sides start slow and then get punished for it. Denmark have to be resolute and have to be combative from minute one.
Yeah, indeed. So we Sweden to get us underway here. And they're going to overload that left-hand side. Everyone's ran to the left-hand side for Sweden here. So it's quite obvious where they're going to play this ball. And it's not back. And we're underway for this Group C game. The first match of Group C at this summer's European Championships as Denmark take on Sweden. And Denmark coming away with the ball there. Looked like a bit of a foul. Snurler comes away with it cleanly though. Here's Harder. Tries to slot Vangsgaard in behind. And an important intervention from Lundqvist. And now they can come forward. Sweden. Nice pass from Karnerud into Aslani. Goes down under the challenge of Sara Holmgaard. And that will be a free kick. Ref quick to intervene from the little bit of afters that we saw there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a theme with the South American referees that they like to be assertive, get involved early, just sprint. We've seen it at the Club World Cup, just seem to sprint into every little altercation. I mean, to be fair, there was a little bit of a push.
That one deserved it.
Yeah, but yeah, there's very different refereeing styles across the world.
No, I think different leagues are more used to breaking up fights.
Yes.
We don't really see that in a lot of the European leagues nowadays.
To be fair, it's nice to see a referee from South America used in as part of the UEFA as a European organisation.
Here is Karnerud trying to take it past Sara Holmgaard there. Good defending from Denmark's fullback. That's out now for a Sweden throw. Lundqvist. Plays a 1-2 with angle down now, looking to make something happen. Here's Olma. Karnerud does really well to take it past Holmgaard. Can she find a ball across the box? She does so. She's going to drop in there for Angeldal, just wide. Big chance for Sweden. And did it take a touch off a Denmark player? I think it did.
I think it was either the defender or the keeper that got the last touch in it, or both of them.
But that's where Johanna Ridsen Karnerud can be fantastic. Slotted the ball through the legs there of Karen Holmgaard. Put the ball across the box, fell for Angeldal, and a big intervention there from the centre half.
And that's what I mean. Denmark's box defending is really crucial today. But that was too easy from Holmgaard to let Garnery skip past her so easily.
Yeah, got to be more assertive. So, Jonah Anderson over this ball. Puts it into the box. And that's headed away. And now Denmark will look to break away. Snurler, needing some support. Plays out to the right-hand side. Here's Thorgaard. Options in the box if she can pick them out. Driving towards goal. And that's well blocked in there. But already we're seeing the ball go backwards and forwards.
Yeah, but it's exactly what Denmark can do. That brilliant counter-attacking threat. Really good play down the right-hand side. The ball through was perfectly weighted. And again, not a bad option to try and just swing it into the box. There's a big block in there, though. Good recovery, that.
Yeah, Thompson on that right-hand side. It was driving over the ball.
Ulmer just gets in the way of it.
Frustrated there was Thorgerson, who'd made the more central run. So it's Katrina Weyer over this one for Denmark. They've got a bit of height in the box here. Pernille Harder, a good header of the football. Balesaga as well. Ball goes in towards the penalty area, headed away. And they try and make something happen, unable to connect well with the ball though there. Pernille Harder, and now Sweden could break. This game end-to-end stuff in the opening exchanges. Blackstenius does settle down a little bit in possession now. And Sweden driving forwards. Here's Ulmer. Ball out to this left-hand side. Karnareed keeping it in touch. He finds himself out of position at the moment. Up against Thompson. Does well to come inside. Puts it into a good area. And it's into the gloves of the Denmark goalkeeper there. Ostergaard.
I have to say, I think this first 4 minutes from Johanna Eating Karnareed has been the best 4 minutes of her year so far, I think.
2025, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But really, that volley against Tottenham, since then.
Just looks so lively. Looks up for it. Looks dangerous again. A player that, when she's got the that grit and that bit between her teeth, she really can cause problems for any player.
I also think they may have had more shots already than Portugal. So a good start to the game for Sweden.
Sweden have done well, but more important, also very importantly, Denmark have not conceded, and that's exactly what they needed to do.
And well, Denmark have come forward as well. But Sweden will they go on to rue that early missed chance, because Angeldal, it was blocked brilliantly by Balesaga, but could she have done better with that opportunity? Denmark putting the pressure on here, and that goes out of play.
Brilliant pressure from the front too. Love that. Vangsgaard covering the hard yards and Pernille Harder right behind it.
Yes, it's interesting to see Denmark. So Denmark usually play a 3-4-3. It looks more like a 3-5-2 today, which is interesting to see. And this is where we speak about Andre Jeglerts having that dynamism in his tactics, in his arsenal, to change things up game on game. We've seen him do it many a time. We've seen him do it in mid-game, changing up their shape and their formation. And today, perhaps trying to win that midfield battle by going player for player in there. Ball forward from Ostergaard. And Pernille Harder there went down under challenge from Natalie Bjorn. It has been given as a free kick.
It's an unnecessary one from Natalie Bjorn, but to be honest, it's one we see all the time. It's usually centre-halves get away with it because referees don't see it. But yeah, it's a little unfortunate. I think Harder spins and then kind of falls over, but there definitely was a little bit of a push from Bjorn, and now a set piece for Denmark to try and make something from.
Well, HB says sorry to disturb the game, but how good an appointment is Jeglerts for City? I'm a big fan.
Very good.
I'm a very big fan of it. I think if you're looking at an option right now, there's no one that's world class that's attainable. So to bring in someone who's trying to do something different, I think it is perfect, and I think he'll grow in that role and could go on to become a world-class manager. Chance for Denmark. Unable there, Harder to make any meaningful connection with the ball, and it bounces into the hands of Falk.
Yeah, it's one of those for Jeglerts where I think very, very good tactician, and a better tactician than Gareth Taylor. He's very good, but the players are going to have to be prepared to work hard and put the hard yards in, because that's what he wants from his team. I think the crossover to that man management side of things at club football will be interesting to see how that goes, because that can be the downfall sometimes of managers losing their jobs.
Well, there's a call for a penalty here, I think.
No, she's fallen over.
It hits the hand of Yanogi. I can't see that being given as a pen, as you say, but certainly
the worst thing it's done is injure her shoulder.
But does it deny the ball getting to Pernille Harder?
No. because her arm, they're next to each other. I think yeah.
The
I
ref
mean,
is
they are
checking
gonna
it.
look. Oh,
The argument you can say is that it hits her hand and that stops it getting through to Pernille Harder, and that is not a natural position unless you're Superman.
that is true.
And we'll see what the officials decide here.
I mean, I think initially I thought it was that her shoulder had gone into Harder and it had come off Harder's knee, but if it has come off her arm, then
It's good officiating there to bring over both captains
Yeah, I
and
like
explain
that.
to them what the situation is.
But yeah,
Having a look at
I agree with what you're saying. If it has hit the arm, the argument will be is that took the ball away from Pernille Harder, who could have potentially got a shot away.
But would have
I
fallen
mean,
into her feet.
they are having a lengthy look at this.
Yeah. So the other argument would be,
yeah.
has she been tripped up there by Balenciaga, which has then led to it, so there was a foul before the penalty call. I think if she just falls over, that's a penalty. I can't see them giving it because there is a trip in there.
And I think the fact that her arm is practically resting on the thigh of Harder, from that replay, it looked like that even if her arm wasn't there, Harder wouldn't have done anything. But yeah, still, I mean, there's a lot to look for. It's a very difficult one to get right. But this is my problem, is that if it takes this long to decide, surely it's not a penalty. You shouldn't have to and ah over it this long.
But again, I think this is the people using the technology rather than the technology itself just going over to the screen. This usually indicates one thing, that it's going to be a penalty. But we'll see if the what decision the referee makes.
They could have just called her over at the start, and they would have got the decision by now.
And they just could have still talked for it while the ref sees it.
But yeah, we're going to look at it. Oh yeah, Twfc now that does.
It's the hand, but they're not showing the trip.
No. Yeah, so that's more. Actually, it hits the hand. Isn't actually in contact with Harder's thigh. Harder probably would, because Harder's bringing her right boot up to shoot. I think it's an unfortunate one for Sweden, but I think it's going to be given.
Yeah, the other thing will be, does it hit her head before it hits
her hand? I mean, now they're going to show the referee the trip potentially. Yeah, they are. So now, was this a foul that then led to her foot?
There isn't a load of contact in it.
And she stumbles a long way. Taking her time.
It's a tough one. Is there intent there to give away a penalty? No. But does it deny Pernille Harder a goal scoring opportunity? Probably, yeah.
I've never seen a referee take this long at the monitor.
I was going to say, I don't know why it's taken 5 minutes. And I agree with the complaints in chat saying VAR check is taking too long.
My thing is, if it takes this long, then surely it's not a penalty.
How many times has she got to see this one incident? That is either a trip or it's not a trip.
Yeah.
Do we need 500 angles of this trip?
I mean, yeah, this is getting ridiculous now. She's just looking at the same thing and they're talking through it, but here we go, we've got a decision.
Thank Christ. 5 minutes after the incident.
Free kick.
A free kick. The other way. So no penalty. After 5 minutes of trying to find one, there's no penalty. Alex Sam up to the stream says, hello, I'm from Malaysia or Melanesia. Welcome to the stream. And I don't think we've ever had anyone from Melanesia. Ryan says, kind of wish I could hear the ref combo. Yeah, that's the other thing. Transparency on VAR would be incredibly helpful.
Yeah. I think I like the fact that now bringing in you've seen it in England now, we've seen it in the MLS, where the referee explains decisions to the crowd. But yeah, I think that their mic should go on as soon as the VAR check starts.
Yeah.
But yeah, that for me, we saw the trip. We said it was a trip. It shouldn't take that long.
Yeah, I think so. What they should have is the TV broadcast should be able to hear the whole thing played out with the refs talking about it and what they're deciding. And then you have a stadium announcement. Because I wouldn't have the whole thing playing to the stadium.
Oh, yeah, that'd be really annoying.
Well, the ref would be going, well, I think it could be this, and the fans would be going, no! Or cheering whatever the ref's saying. So, Yeah, I think but there needs to be more transparency there, and it has to be quicker.
But
the biggest thing we've seen, the biggest praise we've given to VAR in the women's game is that it doesn't take 5 minutes. It's just killed 5 minutes of the game.
But again, you put that down to the people using it.
Yeah, Katrina Weyer didn't need to make contact with that headed ball and does so, and that'll be a Sweden corner. Right, so good decision eventually at least. Yeah, that is the.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was we got the right decision.
But should it have taken that long?
No, but that I think that comes down to just inexperience with the technology across the people using it. It's not Jared Gillett, so we can't blame it on him either.
Yeah.
I guess that is the thing when you go get an officiating team who are outside of Europe,
perhaps aren't experienced with that technology.
Yeah, we trained to use it obviously because of UEFA officials, but that took too long.
To be fair, if it's UEFA, you can't be sure.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a great ball headed away well by Denmark, and that will be a Sweden throw on the far side.
Yeah, it's again, this is practically a restart. We're back to minute 1 now. Both sides have just got to get back into the flow of things.
Yeah.
And back playing again.
Petter Garden looks constantly fed up, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just something throughout his career. He never looks like he wants to be there.
Another corner there for Sweden, played on the left-hand side. Cross block there by Ferger.
Yeah, this game is going as predicted so far. Sweden with the momentum, Sweden on the ball, but Denmark showing they do pack a threat on the counter-attack. And they have got the quality to punish Sweden in their own third.
Yeah. So Aslani over this one. Whips the ball in towards the back post. Again, that's headed away by Sarah Holmgaard this time with ease. Now Karen Holmgaard chasing down Angadal, who's coming down the right-hand side. Ball swinging to the watch. Nogi tries to meet it. Falls for Stina Blackstenius, who takes it away from goal. And now Denmark can break. Harder. Knocks it across towards Snurler. Doesn't quite come off. Going to drop in there for Snurler again, though. He tries to clear it. But it's really good defending there from Olma to prevent that ball going forwards. Yanogi does well to chase that down, competing physically with Katrina Weyer. Looked like that came off Yanogi, and it did. That'll be a Denmark throw.
Well defended that from Katrina Weyer. Smart initially, good from Yanogi to just get in front of her and to nick it off her, but well recovered from the Denmark centre half. Again, seeing this Denmark kit on the pitch and in use is brilliant. I love it. Such a good shirt.
Yeah. They should get a point just for that.
Yeah. Yeah. If they're level with Sweden after 3 games, put Denmark 3 around a better kit.
That's the deciding.
I'm just not sure what goes on with Sweden's kit. Why have they got 2 different shades of blue?
I like it.
I don't. That's just too much going on. That's why I like Denmark kit. It's just simplistic.
I don't think there's much going on there.
Different colours and triangles and they don't want that.
Okay.
Look at Denmark's red shirt with a bit of a darker red around and then a white collar.
You go back to them playing in single colour t-shirts.
Yeah, and no names on the back, just a number.
Yeah. Here comes Sweden. Connery poking one through for Aslani. Options arriving in the centre. Yanogi tries to take it past the Danish midfielder in there, but really good defending. Sweden winning it heart of the field. Here's Aslani. Knocks out the play.
Yeah, not bad from Sweden. Denmark just struggling to get it to stick up front. That's what it is hurting them a little bit at the moment. It's just that turnover is happening too quickly. Sweden are winning that ball back as soon as it gets up there.
Yeah.
And again, the long throw's gone on there and then flicked it on into a Sweden shirt.
Here is Yanogi. Can she get a shot away here for Sweden? Unable to hold on to the ball. Karen Holmgaard does really well. Emerged with possession, driving it forwards. Here's Sarah Holmgaard. Plays it in behind. Looking for the run there of Thompson. Will be dealt with well by the goalkeeper. Falls for Pernilla Harder. Header forwards. Cut out well by Sembrant. And now Sweden can settle on the ball. Sembrant. Olma. Lundqvist. Now it's with Angeldal, who'll look to play that ball in behind, looking for the run of Carnered, who's got the wrong side of Katrina Weyer again today. Carnered across the box. Stina Blackstenius denied by Ferger. And that was an important intervention there from the right centre half. Lovely play from Sweden. Carnered really looking up for it today.
Yeah, really good from Carnered. Just that burst of pace down the right-hand side and picked out Blackstenius perfectly. And I don't mind that from Blacksenius, just getting the shot off first time and a very big recovering tackle from the Denmark defender. But good all round from Sweden, good play, ball over the top, great cutback. And I thought Blacksenius did the right thing. Didn't take too many touches, didn't waste it, just got the shot off early and was unfortunate that it was blocked due to a good piece of defending.
Yeah, indeed. Switch the play here to the right-hand side for Denmark. Verja puts the ball in behind. Thompson's going to try and get that. Gave up on it, though. And rightfully so, bounces out for a Sweden goal kick.
Yeah, just wasn't going to hold up there. But really well timed run this from Carnered a moment ago. It has that pacing behind.
And this is the problem for Denmark today. Going player for player is relying on Katrina Veer being able to handle Carnered, and so far she hasn't been able to.
100%.
And they got away with it though. Verja with a very important intervention.
And again, it's risky, but if Denmark can just defend their own 6-yard box for 90 minutes, then it's going to take something special for Sweden to break the deadlock here. Because again, it's a good move, but as soon as it gets in that 6-yard box, someone in a red shirt's charged it down. And they've done that well so far. Yeah, it's very difficult to keep up for 90 minutes, but if they do it, they're basically saying to Sweden, you're going to have to find something special to beat us.
Yeah.
Which they can, because Slani could just pick it up from 20 yards and put it in the top corner. But, that's a lot more difficult than building a good move and scoring a goal.
Denmark then knocking the ball from the right to the left-hand side. Balesaga. Now Katrina Veer. Back to Balesaga. Looks to switch the focus of this attack to the left-hand side, but that's an overhit ball. And out for a Sweden throw. Lundqvist. Angeldal back to Lundqvist. Snurler with an important challenge, harder. Now here is Karen Holmgaard. Verja. Now Baleslager. Veer. Denmark looking to come down the left-hand side. Nice pass inside. Snurler. Plays the ball out to this right-hand side. And Thompson wants to drive the ball inside. Looks to cross it. Cross is blocked. That's out now for a Denmark corner.
Don't mind that at all from Denmark. Really good stuff down the right-hand side. Being direct, going at Sweden and looking to cause them problems. Well defended in the end.
It's been a very even game so far. Remember our predictions video when I said I think it'll be close? I put Denmark ahead of Sweden as a bit of a punt. I remember people saying, that's not going to be how it pans out. It's how good Sweden are. But Denmark are able to put up a fight, as proven in this first 19 minutes. Great square up with the strangers. Is Eriksson injured? I would assume so. I've not heard anything about that injury, but with her not starting today, you'd have to assume there is a knock or a fitness issue that rules her out of contention.
She's on the bench, which is promising.
Yeah.
But they're prioritising the tournament.
Header across the box, unable to keep the ball in. Now Sweden will look to break. Ooh. Carnered falling over the ball.
Even Carnered can trip over the ball, but the way she's playing can just get back up and get back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the second half of the WSL season, she'd have fell over the ball there and been dispossessed. A little bit aggressive that from...
Yeah, another free kick. Unnecessary from Olma.
Yeah. I think Denmark will really sense a chance the way this game is going, but they've got to take it. Because Sweden are the type of side that can then just completely take you out of the game in an instant.
Yeah.
So it's important that while it's even, that Denmark do try and take advantage of that.
And so it's Snurler over this free kick then for Denmark. Can she pick out a player in the box? Looks towards the back post. Big punch away from Falk. And Sweden will get the ball now and look to bring it forwards. A pass inside. Nice carrying from Olma. Now out to the right-hand side. Lundqvist. Lifting that ball in behind. Looking for Stina Blacksenius. Nice touch back. Doesn't quite find Aslani. Lundqvist picks up the pieces. Carnered. Aslani. Now it falls back to Natalie Bjorn and Sweden will settle in possession once more. Sembrant. Now Bjorn. Out to the left-hand side. Where Angeldal had drops in. Anderson, Angeldal. Back out to the full-back here for Sweden. Puts a cross in, but again, unable to find the intended target. And that will be headed away by Katrina Varen out for a Sweden throw. Bjorn. Olmer. Out to Lundqvist. Tries to pick out Aslani. One back in there by Veja. Clears it into Aslani, and that'll be a Denmark throw. Just 2 minutes here, it's been a bit cagey.
But that suits Denmark more than it suits Sweden, you feel? And I think that it's a big positive for Denmark, the fact that we are now halfway through this first 45 minutes and it is still all square and it's been very competitive. They're not under the pump as much as I thought they would be at this point in the match.
Yeah.
But there's still time, and you expect Sweden just to keep growing into this game and keep getting better and better.
Lundqvist. Tries to find Janogy. One back in there by Denmark. Cleared out of play by Sara Holmgaard. What can Sweden make happen? Lundqvist. Kahnreid. Back to Lundqvist. Now Olmer. Needs an option. Plays to the edge of the box. Just about poked to Anderson. Ball into box. Important intervention there from Katrina Vare. Stopped it falling to the feet of Aslani. Now Denmark will look to come forwards harder. Thought she'd kept it on well. A late call, but that is off the field.
Yeah, looked like it had just crept off. But Denmark are doing really well by just doing the simple things right. They're not trying to overcomplicate it. They're just clearing their lines well. They're dealing with the ball. I think that, yes, they probably like the ball to stick up front a little bit more when they do clear it. But overall, the reason they're level in this game is because they're just not trying to do things over the top. They're not trying to overplay, which is really important.
Yeah, definitely.
They're settled in. They're just sticking to the basics. You know, being marking tight, clearing their lines first time, making sure they get solid contact on it and not just dangle a leg or miscue clearance. Really well managed by Denmark so far, and they are just kind of shifting all the pressure onto Sweden, saying, "Come and break us down, come and find a way through us."
Very disciplined defensive display, and then now the question for Sweden is how do they find their way through that impenetrable fortress of a Denmark back line? They're going to try and do it now. Blacksenius. Lundqvist. Angeldal. Can she to find a cross into the box? Goes into the wide space where Lundqvist has made a good run. Claws one to the back post. Janogy unable to meet it. Anderson will keep this move alive. Janogy in support. Opts for Olmer instead. Now Angeldal on the edge of the box. Under pressure immediately. Looks to take aim. Blocked there by Ferja. Angeldal blocking the clearance. And now Sweden can attack again. Lundqvist finds Kahnreid, who squares up to Holmgaard. What will she use here to try and beat a lovely move? Great shot. Ball into the box, though. Not good enough. And dealt with by Denmark, who now look to break away. Harder to Vangsgaard. Denmark down this left-hand side. Very firm challenge that from Natalie Bjorn, who came across rather aggressively. And Gerhardsen, not sure what they've given here. Not sure Gerhardsen knows.
No. So initially it was Bjorn in the tackle with Harder.
And it was Olmo who came in aggressively. I mean, got the ball, but it's the force she used. It was excessive.
Yeah. I have no idea what's been given. It's been given as a cooling break.
That's probably the smartest thing to do there.
Yeah.
Go get a drink, guys. Oh, PCL, what's happening in a minute. Ryzen says, damn, I miss Harder sometimes. Oh, same. And Magda. We'll take them both back at Chelsea, but to be fair, I think the team at the moment is strong enough.
Yeah. But no, a really good first 26 minutes hit between these two sides is exactly what we expected. A close affair between two, because it's different. And again, this is no slight towards Iceland and Finland at all, but it's a similar game, but the quality is just higher because the overall quality of the squads is better. So we've just got a close game of a really good standard, and that's exactly what you want to see at the Euros. It's the whole point of these competitions is you get to watch good sides face off against each other and put on a really good contest. Well, we've had our drinks and we're back underway. It is a Denmark throw. I thought the two options were either a Sweden throw or a Denmark free kick, but we've got a mix, which is potentially maybe the mediating option.
Yeah. Ball in the air, bouncing around quite a lot there between the two sides. Denmark come away with it, and there's an offside call in there. And that's clumsy from Denmark. They came over the ball and had an attacking situation.
Must be it was a late call.
Angledal lifting it over the top, looking for Blackstenius, who gets under her control well, flicks it into the box. Aslani will try and challenge for it. Baleslager heading out of play, and that's a Sweden corner.
Yeah, it was made awkward. It's one of those where I expected to see Ostergaard, the keeper, just come running out and get it, but she never came for it.
And she decided against it 3 times in there. And then again, maybe could have come for the cross. In the end, though, Baleslager knocking out of play for a corner. So now, what can Denmark do from this set piece? Sweden in towards the box, and that one
free kick
is given as a free kick. It's headed wide regardless.
Yeah, just a little bit too forceful in there. I think it was from Nathalie Bjorn as she went up for the ball. Let's have a look here.
To be fair, I think she was fouled more than anyone else there.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see where the foul was there. I mean, Sembrant potentially on the goalkeeper, but keeper protection at corners and things like that is so high.
Yeah.
Like, it's very difficult to challenge the goalkeeper without committing a foul. But, fair enough.
Ball forwards from Ostergaard. Flicked on in there. Vangsgaard goes down, and now Sweden come away with the ball. And they'll look to break away. Lundqvist, firm challenge. Brilliant from Connery to keep that in her control, but then runs it off the field. That will be a Sweden throw. But yeah, Lundqvist was taken out by quite the aggressive challenge. I think it was from Snurler. Just misses the ball, catches the player, but advantage was given. Connery unable to make it work.
Yeah, another chance for Sweden to swing this in the area and put that Denmark defence under pressure in their own penalty area. But as I said, box defending from Denmark has been really solid in the first half an hour here. They need to keep that up.
Anderson, they're getting a bit of advice of where to put it from the bench.
Yeah, fair enough. All the fourth official.
Can't be sure. Anderson swings in towards the near post, flicked on there, but headed away well.
Well, whoever gave her that advice should shut up now, because that was whatever they told her to do. That football was not good enough.
Yeah, it's one of those. If it comes off, it's brilliant, isn't it? But it just didn't. Lundqvist. Olma, that's cut out by Holmgaard. No look to break. Good flick on there from Vangsgaard, just behind. Harder though. Falls for Yanogi. Important intervention from Thompson. Sweden can come forwards now. Lundqvist. Aslani playing in her 200th game for Sweden today. Lundqvist back towards Aslani. Cut out well by Vea. Here comes Denmark. Holmgaard plays a pass inside to her twin. And now they'll switch to the right hand side to attack. Thorgerson. Berge. Baleslager. Back to Fej. Now Thorgerson. Now although back to Ostergaard. Baleslager. Can Denmark get that ball forwards a bit? Looking for a forward option. Almost caught in possession there by the Aslani, who just crept up on her a little quicker than she was expecting. Denmark come down the left-hand side. Katrina Vea sends it forward, headed away. Now Sweden getting it under their control. Here's Carneries. Pass inside. Aslani back to Angledal, cut out. And now Denmark could use this, but it's won back by Sweden. Janogy. Great turn there from the wide player. Looks to put it into the box. Headed away by Katrina Weyer. Angledal does well to maintain that under her control. Flip round the corner there from Carnery, unable to be held onto by Sweden. And here come Denmark. Katrina Weyer, that's cut out. And one back in there again by Denmark. Falls though to Anderson, who will launch a ball forwards. Weyer tries to get it down. Carnery, Janogy, Sweden coming to attack now. Carnery darting forwards, cut out by Baleslager. Hits her own player. Play continues. Sweden ball. Blackstenius. Janogy. Great control, twisting and turning away through the Denmark defence. But the cross blocked by Ferge.
Yeah, first little miss out there from Denmark, just clearing it into each other, and it's tidy footwork from Janogy to win the corner. But well recovered that from Denmark. But just that's what happens when things can get messy, and when that quality does drop in the defensive area, you give possession to the opposition in a pretty dangerous area.
So Kosovare Aslani.
Haven't seen too much from her today so far. Not she played badly. I just don't think she's been involved as much as we expect her to be.
Ball into the box, punched away by Falk. And here's Angledal. Turns, delivers the ball into the box. Punched away by Ostergaard. Ball in again. Slight trying to meet Ostergaard gets there for the third time. Now Bjorn takes aim from the edge of the area, but that one's wide of the mark. And a disappointing end to a barrage of attacks from Sweden.
Yeah, good for Sweden. Just doing well to keep recycling the football and keep the pressure on Denmark. But it was 3 pieces of assertive goalkeeping from Ostergaard, punching away 3 different crosses before Bjorn toe punts it wide.
Yeah, she didn't look comfortable going up to strike that one.
No. Which, to be fair, she's a centre-half. But yeah, just didn't catch that one quite right.
No.
And again, Denmark showing that they're doing very well at just defending their own 6-yard box. They've got to be careful because it does mean they're under a lot of pressure.
And that ball knocked out of play for a Denmark throw then. And now Denmark can look to come forwards after a period where Sweden have been barraging them. They're into the final third here, Denmark. Here is Thompson. Wants to take on Anderson. Needing some support here. Pass played inside. Looking for Snurler. Not enough on it. And Aslani picking it off. Back now to Falk. And Sweden can play out. And now we'll get to see Denmark's pressing, which we haven't really seen them do much of it. But they force that ball long. And that allows them then to win the headed ball. Snurler. Fantastic turn. Leaves Angledal in the dust. Here's Harder now for Denmark. Could she get a shot away, Pernilla Harder? Just too much on that. Failing to find the far corner. But not a bad effort from the Dane at Talisman.
Yeah, it's not a bad go at all.
This is brilliant from Snurler. Feigns one way with her body. Takes the ball the other way and it sails Angledal a dream. And Harder just a little too much lift on that strike.
Yeah, worth a go, because how many times have we seen Pernilla Harder find the top corner from that kind of range? Yeah, just a little bit too far, too much on it that time round. But again, showing what Denmark can do when they get the ball forwards.
Holmgaard into Holmgaard. The twins connecting as they combine in the midfield. Here's Harder. Holds off Janogy well. Holmgaard. Thorgerson now. Ferge back out wide into Thorgerson. Here come Denmark. Has Thompson and Harder ahead of her. Thorgerson wants to take on Anderson. Nice play. Puts it into the box. Now that's like a deflection. And out now for a corner.
Yeah, good couple of minutes, didn't this for Denmark? Much to the appeasement of their fans behind the goal. Megaphones, drums, all sorts going on in that crowd. Someone even using their car keys as a musical instrument to make some noise. But that's what it's all about. And they'll be hoping their side can try and find the back of the net from this corner.
Yeah, definitely. So Katrina Weyer to take this corner then. And Denmark players queuing up in the area. What can they make happen here, Denmark? Veer puts it in towards the back post, claimed over by Falk, and Sweden now will look to break away. Lundqvist. Now Carnered. Lundqvist. Olma, Lundqvist. Now it's with Angeldal. Now they can play. I have to say, the 6 and the 5 for Sweden, the numbers are way too similar. And it's difficult to distinguish Angeldal from Olma anyway. And the numbers look identical. Good pressure that from Philippa Angeldal. Being forced away from the ball there is Katrina Veer. Comes off a clearance up the line there, comes off a Sweden player out for a throw. And that is Karen Holmgaard, who's gone down with an injury. And now Aslani, Carnered, Lundqvist all engaging in some conversation about what's going wrong.
It's been a very combative game, and I think that it has been matched well with the fact that the referee is letting this run. Alves in the middle. I think that we've seen again a complaint. The flow of the game has been killed a little bit by referees making the game very stop-start. But referee understanding that this is a physical game. It's going to be very combative, very strong, and just happy to let things run, which is what you want to. Which I'd rather see. I think in the other games we saw just a lot of stop-start, fouls being given, cards being waved around left, right, and centre.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we've got a break here of a pause in the action. I'd like to thank you all very much for 4,000 subscribers. Just hit it while live on this stream. So thanks to anyone new that has hit subscribe. And if you are new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We want to go for 5,000 as soon as possible, really. If our dream is to hit it by the end of the Euros, that feels very optimistic at the moment. But if you want to try and help us with that, hit that subscribe button. Share the stream on socials to get other people involved as well. But yeah.
It's always nice to see a number followed by zeros.
Yeah.
But yeah.
zeros.
Yeah, especially when there is a number in front of those zeros. But yeah, thank you all very much. That is almost as impressive as that man's Denmark suit. That is brilliant.
Yeah. We'd rather have 4,000 subscribers or that suit. Definitely that suit. The hat as well. He's got it all.
Yeah, for people who can't see it, he's basically just got the Denmark flag made into a suit. Just and he's put it on even on the collar and stuff of his jacket. He's just put it on different angles. And
if imagine Cat in the Hat if he was Danish.
Yeah,
that's what he's got going on as well on the top. Ryzen's congrats, boys. Thank you, Ryzen. Appreciate the support. There are a few confetti emojis coming from the reaction feature.
Yes, get the confetti going. And get in the live chat so you can climb those rankings.
Yeah, remember, XP is a thing now.
We haven't been checking who's been winning that at the end of each stream.
Yeah, it was Phil, both times on Wednesday. I don't know who won it yesterday.
Well done, Phil. And so we'll give Phil some confetti as well. Yeah, we're back playing. We had a few stoppages. The VAR was a lengthy stoppage. Karen Holmgaard was down there to get some tape on.
Probably got about 10 minutes of stoppage time.
I'll go 6, I think, at the moment.
They're 5 for
they don't want to add on too much. They won't want to add on too much in the first half. They're not FIFA.
Okay.
They're a bit more reasonable. Let's just put 15 minutes on at the end of each half just to make us more money.
There has been 10 minutes of stoppages, though, so we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, we may.
Had a player for Sweden throw. Thrown inside. Yanagi wasn't really alert to that one. Vangsgaard. Now Holmgaard. There's a foul in there, and it's a contentious one. But that has seen the attack breakdown. That'll be a Sweden free kick.
It's not a foul.
Yeah.
The Denmark player takes the ball away and Lundqvist falls over because she hasn't got a ball to kick. That's not a foul.
That's not a foul for me. Vangsgaard did well to flick it onto Sarah Holmgaard, who's coming on the left-hand side. It's been given those a Sweden free kick.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The had it all to do in this first half.
Yeah. That's been a very difficult half to manage. Still goalless.
Yeah. So free kick now on the edge of the box. Fair bringing down Aslani in there.
Yeah, just too forceful. came from behind and just put a little bit too much pressure onto Sweden's captain. Yeah, obvious 2 hands in the back, pushes it over. That's always going to be a free kick. And yeah, opportunities coming late in the half now for Sweden to try and break the deadlock. 4 players over this free kick. Angeldal, Aslani, Yanogi, and I couldn't quite see the other person was in the conversation. Yeah, very important now for Denmark. They've done well to battle and compete for 42 minutes. The last thing they want to do is throw that all away in the last few minutes of the first half.
Yeah. So what can they do from this situation then?
Anderson was the other one in the conversation. Yanogi and Aslani both moved away.
It's a great opportunity to take a shot at goal. So, Sweden now stepping up to shoot. Angeldal or Anderson? It's the right sort of range. Angeldal will strike. Oh! Brilliant stop from Ostergaard. Drilled it wonderfully towards the top corner. Struck excellently, but saved equally brilliantly by Ostergaard, who saw it coming and tipped it over the bar. Big save.
What a save that is. They are the match-defining saves that you need from your goalkeeper in the Euros. The Sweden fans behind the goal thought it was in. What a hit from Angeldal. Just catches it really nicely.
And we've missed the subsequent corner, but it is out of play for a goal kick.
What a save that is. That is a difficult one to get up to, but she got up there in time and got a good palm behind it. Because that had a lot of pace. To save that one-handed with the power that Angeldal put behind that, that is a world-class save.
Yeah, that's excellent from Ostergaard.
Yeah. And everyone else, all the Sweden bench can do is applaud that. That is a superb stop.
So Sweden trying to get the ball down and play. Take momentum from a great opportunity there.
Again, following the theme that the first half has carried all the way through, really. Sweden have those chances, and they're the ones who are threatening a little bit more than Denmark are, but it's been competitive.
Here's Yanogi. Had a play now for a Sweden throw. So Sweden thrown on the far side. They're still trying to play in this first half. Can someone find a goal before the break? Aslani, Yanogi. Lovely control, drives inside, overplays slightly. But the clearance from Denmark not away. Anderson into the box. Platenis can't meet it. Balasaga getting rid of it. Now Sweden holding on to the ball. Anderson. Olma. Aslani. 7 minutes of additional time in this first half. So, as I say, still a fair whack of time to play here. Sweden feel like the side with more of the momentum. Can they make that happen? Can they make something happen? That's an overhit ball though from Nestle Bjorn now for a Denmark goal kick.
Diff one for the players to be playing a 52-minute half. It is not easy in the heat that is currently in Switzerland. So yeah, not a nice one that for the players, but yeah, they've still got 6 minutes now to play here.
Yeah.
And then obviously whatever happens in the second half, I think Sweden are starting to come on a little bit stronger as this half goes on. I think it's important for Denmark to just hang in there and make sure they don't concede before half time. We saw how costly it was for Belgium yesterday to concede that goal late on in the first half. Denmark don't want to fall to the same fate.
Bjorn. Now Lundqvist. Angeldal, Lundqvist. Pass inside now to Angeldal. This must be tough to coach a team with Yanogi and Conrad on the wings. Both are so inconsistent to the extreme. Most difficult to play in the side as well. You make the run, no, there's about a 50-50 chance the player's either going to overplay it and lose the ball or do something excellent and cross it in. But yeah, I get what you're saying. That's why Rolpo is such a miss. Because you've got two unpredictable players, but that's not always the best thing if they're
To be
unpredictable.
honest, the whole front three, on their day, if you get your Noggy, Blacksnakes and Carnreed all on a good day, that's one of the best front threes at the tournament. But if all of them are off it, then they look miles off it.
Yeah. Lundqvist. Cliffing it towards the back post, heads away. Angledal losing it. Olma, now Angledal. Gives the Carnreed, so it's absolutely fizzed behind her. She struggled to keep it in. That's cleared away there by Holmgaard. Denmark still trying to probe late on in this first half.
Yeah, just got to be careful because Sweden are just ramping it up a little bit now.
Aslani poking in behind, looking for the run of Carnreed. Who'll compete with Katrina Weyer. Who's it come off?
Corner ball.
It's a goal kick for Denmark.
Man.
Carnreed didn't look annoyed enough about that, did she?
No.
For it to be a goal.
She asked the question, didn't get the answer, and thought, oh, it's okay, fair enough. I mean, I thought it was a corner, but
she looked very much like a player who knows that she touched it.
yes, maybe.
Ostergaard. Sends it forward. Can Denmark make it stick? Not exactly, but they do have possession. Holmgaard. Lundqvist comes jumping in and wins the ball, and that'll be a Denmark throw. But she wasn't allowed to take it quick enough, seemingly. Lays it for Katrina Weyer to come take the throw. So can Denmark progress down this wing? Well, one again there by Lundqvist. It is Sarah Holmgaard who comes away with it. Now harder. Snurler wants to out to the right-hand side. Nice pass into Thorgerson. But not able to keep it in play. It was almost at her head. Tried to chest it down and it came off of her at a horrible angle. Bjorn. Here's Angledal. Launching it forwards. Header down now to Aslani, who tries to head it towards Janogy. Competing with Karen Holmgaard in there, and now it's Denmark on away with the ball. Sara Holmgaard, Karen Holmgaard. Lovely connection again between the twins. Strong there from Carnreed, and here comes Sweden. They've got an advantage in numbers, but that's a poor pass from Carnreed. And the attack breaks down. Olma falling over to win that header in there. Carnreed losing out in the physical battle to Holmgaard. Comes off Sarah Holmgaard now for a throw.
Scrappy. Getting both sides are starting to tire a little bit.
They're trading possession quite consistently.
Yeah. Long half of football. Both sides starting to feel it. But that's when
warm.
Yeah.
As well today.
Yeah. Just 7 minutes is a silly amount of time to add on in the first half.
Lundqvist. No, Carnreed. They haven't taken so long about the VAR. They've been alright. Janogy. One back in there. Now here comes Denmark. Thorgerson. Karen Holmgaard. Harder. Here come Denmark. Well blocked. Now they look to come down the right hand side. Carnreed. Good control. Driving inside with the ball. Takes it around Katrina Weyer. Really good stuff from Carnreed. Now up against Sarah Holmgaard. Squares up to her. Can she take her on? Really good hold up from Holmgaard. Great defending. And now Denmark will look to try and break away. Header one in there by Olma. Falls for Karen Holmgaard. Loses it high up the field here. Aslani to Angledal. Can they try and fashion opportunity here? Not well, they try. Doesn't really come off. Thorgerson breaking away from Blackstone. Still going here. Thorgerson for Denmark. Has some support around her. Thompson in the box. Clips it towards Zach. Dealt with by Bjorn though.
Big tackle that.
And now Sweden will look to come the other way.
Really good interception from Bjorn.
Last chance really of this first half. Don't really know where she's trying to go there. Ends up winning a free kick though.
and that will be the first yellow card. Honestly, this is going back for a previous advantage. Snell goes into the book. Not quite sure what that one was for. There we go sit back. Yes.
Yeah, just late in there, catching Angledal. Picking up a yellow card right on the stroke of half time, really, there, Emma Still.
Yeah.
And that is the half-time whistle for the second time this tournament. We're going to the break with the deadlock unbroken. It's Denmark 0, Sweden 0. Both sides are pro, both sides have had chances, but neither side, as of yet, able to break the deadlock. I'm going to go get drinks and be back on. I'll let you give your thoughts on that first half.
Yeah, good half of football. I think both sides competed pretty well. It's always a tough one. Played just over 52 minutes in that first half. Really, really difficult one, and unlucky you feel for both sides. That they had to play that long, but overall I think it was a very competitive half. Can you take my glass well, please? But yeah, I think both sides did well. Both sides showed some signs of promise. I think Sweden probably came forward with a little bit more danger and a little bit more intent. But overall, I think credit to both sides who put on a good contest, and hopefully that will continue on into the second 45. It's played out as we expected it to, really. That Sweden would probably look a little bit stronger and play the better football, but Denmark are very much in the game and are playing some really good stuff. And I think, as Ryzen says, feels like the second half might get spicy, 100%. I think that this game will get more and more competitive as it goes on. The longer it stays 0-0, I think we'll see that desire and that competitiveness really start to ramp up. It's already been a good game, but and the longer it stays level, the better it's going to be. So I think it has been a very, very good game of football to watch. It's entertaining. It's what you want to see. But when you see these kind of groups, when you get two sides of very similar quality drawn against each other, you want to see these kind of really close, combative games of football where there's not much in it from either side. Yes, Sweden have probably looked a little bit sharper and have had some better chances, but Denmark have come forward and they have challenged, which is very strong. They were, they had that penalty shout as well a bit earlier in the game. There's been some good tackles from the likes of Bjorn and Sembrant to deny some good opportunities for Denmark. We've seen Pernille Harder go, put one wide and put one over the bar. So Denmark are definitely threatening in this game and are coming forwards. But Sweden, for me, are just having the better chances. They're having more of the ball, and they're really, I wouldn't say they're in control of the game, because Denmark very much still have a foothold in the match, but Sweden are the ones who right now look like they could get more out of it. We've seen some really good efforts. We've seen some big saves and some really good pieces of commanding and brave goalkeeping from Ostergaard. She's been really good at controlling her penalty area and just not making those decisions on when to come out and punch it, when to stay on her line, when she needs to come and help her centre half. So I think some top goalkeeping we've seen from Ostergaard, and credit to her. I thought the save to deny Angledal from the free kick was superb, absolutely brilliant, because Angledal hit it very well again. I like those free kicks where the player tries to catch, where the striker of the ball tries to catch the goalkeeper out rather than just trying to curl it over the wall. The player just hits it hard into the corner where the goalkeeper is standing, because they are hard ones to deal with, and that's what Angledal did. Just bolted it straight towards that top left, and it was a fine stop with a strong palm over the bar from Ostergaard. But credit to both sides, because it has been very competitive. Sweden, though, I think that they'll probably be the more frustrated side out of the two. Denmark will be happier with where we're at in the match, but definitely Sweden, I think they'd like to have a little bit more control. They'd like to see a bit of a better performance from their players. Yes, we've seen some good stuff in spells from the likes of Carnareed and Co, but I I don't think enough of them are playing well consistently. I thought Angledar's had a good game, but the front three has been a little bit missing. You know, that Carnery shows spells, Yonogi's shown spells. Blackstenius hasn't really got involved. It isn't Blackstenius' kind of game, to be completely honest. I think that Denmark are sitting too deep, and Blackstenius' best attribute is stretching the back line and getting in behind, and she can't really do that at the moment. So it's not her kind of game, which for me should be Petter Garten looking towards his bench and bringing on a bit more of a physical, hold up striker than someone who wants to get in behind. But it's going to be interesting to see how the second half plays out.
If they were to make a change up front, probably looking at either Blomqvist or Vangerheim. I think the public would probably prefer Vangerheim, the young talent, 20 years old, a lot of hype around her. So that could be an option really for Sweden. I think at the moment the biggest battle's coming in the wide areas, and neither side able to win it. With Sweden, you've got two quite defensive fullbacks, so they're sitting further back. When actually Sweden need a bit of width at the moment. But at the moment, Denmark able to deal with Sweden's wide players being a bit inconsistent, Yonogi and Carnery. So yeah, it's been an interesting battle out in those wide areas. In midfield, it's been incredibly congested. I think that was by design from Denmark. They don't usually play midfield of three, but I think doing that today to try and disrupt Sweden's midfield has been really smart, because they've made it a really physical battle, and they've left no space really for Sweden. So yeah, it's been a bit of a tough game in midfield. Denmark's pressing's been really good. They've forced Sweden to go long a lot of the time, which then favours Denmark as well, because they're quite good at winning the ball in the air over Blackstenius. So they've done really well in that regard. But yeah, two best shots of the game so far coming for Philippa Angeldal. The shot from fairly close range, about 12 yards out, saved well, or blocked well, sorry. And then the free kick, which was saved excellently by Maya Bay Ostergaard. So yeah, it's been one of those games so far where we've seen a few chances, but it's actually been quite an exciting contest. So yeah, hopefully we see more in the second half. Hopefully though, with a few more goals and a few more contributions. Harry currently being terrified of a spider in the studio. But yeah, we have seen some entertaining moments in that first half. Hopefully we see more going into the second half. Looking at the stats then from that first half, Sweden at 63% of the possession, but Denmark doing really well to set up defensively and stop them being able to play through them with any sort of success, because yes, they've had 8 shots, but only 1 registered on target so far, and that was the free kick for Philippa Angeldal. So Denmark have done really well to neutralise the threat from Sweden, and yeah, Andre Jeglert's doing a fantastic job. I think City fans have got to be very excited by what they're seeing. And they may be concerned thinking, he's playing really defensive football. We don't want to play defensive football. We're Man City. But having that option to play defensively against the top side is really good. And Jeglert has a history of playing attacking football as well. So it's not like he is stubborn in one way. This is not Antonio Conte. He's a very versatile, very dynamic manager. So yeah, they've adjusted. They've adapted really well to play defensively here, Denmark. They've made life really difficult for Sweden, and they're deserving so far of a draw at half-time. Now is what can happen in the second half. Can they remain defensively solid and then look to attack, or will Sweden be able to finally break down this Denmark defence? That is what we're now going to see over the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, Sweden have either got to hope for a Denmark error in their own penalty area, or they've got to try and force one. Because at the moment, Denmark's box defending is absolutely superb. And that all comes from the shape. They're sitting narrow. When they're defending, they're sitting narrow. They're being compact, and as soon as that ball enters the 18-yard box, a red shirt is making contact with it and getting it out of the area and getting it away from danger. And that's working perfectly at the moment. What Sweden have got to do is either they've got to force their way in, and it's going to take a moment of quality to try and pick a hole in that Denmark backline, or they're going to have to pounce on an error, which doesn't look like it's going to come at the moment. So right now, Sweden needs someone to step up and create something, to force an opening, to show a bit of quality in a moment of magic, to find a way through, because Denmark, they're defending very, very well. They're doing so well just in their own 6-yard box, in their own 18-yard box, of just dealing with any Sweden threat.
I think this is going to sound a little bit wacky. However, I think what Sweden should do is bring on Fridley and Arolfo, not at left wing, but at left back, and then look to overload the left-hand side, because she's still a very capable defender, but I think it would just give them a bit more attacking output down that left-hand side. Then Denmark have either got a decision if they've got to double up there to be able to deal with Janogy and Rolfo, or they leave Rolfo and let her cross balls into the box without as much opposition. So I think they've got to change something in Sweden, but whether Gerhardsson will do that or not remains to be seen. He's not known for being remarkably quick to change. Oftentimes his subs come a little bit too late in games, and he's kept a lot of the older players in the squad, so he's a rather stubborn manager overall. But they've got to make a change in this game. Sweden, they've got to try and make this more difficult for Denmark. Try and find a way of overloading them in the final thirds. At the moment, Denmark are able just to sit in a really good defensive shape and block out everything from Sweden.
Yeah, 100%. Denmark are happy with how the game's being played and where it's being played right now. It is on Sweden to find something different, because Jägerlerts and Denmark are sitting there at half time and going, we're doing well, just keep doing what you're doing. And then they'll adapt accordingly based on whatever Sweden come up with. But if Sweden don't change something, Denmark will be sitting there thinking happy days, because we can just sit like this and we'll get at least a point from this football match, if not more. And that's the thing to remember. That's what Sweden have got to be careful of. Is if they are going to go for it and try and put numbers forward to break Denmark down, got to be wary of the threat that Denmark carry on the counter. We've seen it a couple of times when they come forward, but all it takes is one effort from Pernille Harder, one effort from Snell or Vangsgaard or whoever, and Denmark could take the lead here. So Sweden have got to find that right balance between going for the game but not completely sending it. For Denmark, I think they'll be really happy with that first half.
Yeah, Savodas, welcome to the stream. Someone who has watched that first half and won some goals, predicting 4-1. Not sure which way, but yeah, let us know. Savodas, is
5 goals in the second half.
Yeah, I'd love it. Is that to Denmark or is that to Sweden? Let us know. But yeah, one of those first 45s where it was very cagey. Denmark, I think, set up exactly how they needed to stop Sweden, and now it will be a question of whether Sweden can change that. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the second half. In terms of changes, do you think we'll see any? Do you think we should see any? What are your thoughts there?
I don't think either side need any. I think Denmark look fine. They don't look tired or ran off their legs. Sweden, I don't think they need to panic just yet and start chopping and changing. They've got the quality on the pitch is very much good enough to win this football match. But I think later into the half they'll look to just change things up, and Denmark will look to bring on fresh legs. I think Katarina Kuhl is someone we could definitely see.
I was going to say midfield for me. Hasbo or Kjell, both players who can contribute. Hasbo a bit more a defensive option, Kjell more of an advanced, playmaker type role. So, yeah, whichever they fancy, if they need to push more for a goal or if they want to defend more, they've got options on the bench.
The key for Denmark in this second half now is going to be legs. They have to keep the energy up. They have to be proactive as well. If Sweden are making changes, Denmark need to add some as well, because we see it time and time again where we see these close games, but then the bigger side will make changes. The underdog won't react, and then the bigger side will go on and score just because the underdog run out of legs and end up being tired. So Denmark, they've got to be proactive and got to keep that almost like a carousel, like just every 5-10 minutes bring on a change. Obviously they've only got 3 stoppages, but 60 minutes make a change, 70 minutes make another 2 changes, and just keep the changes flowing.
Maybe Signe Brun on up front, bit of physicality up there.
I do think that'd be my one criticism of Denmark, is that ball. They're probably not having as much of the ball in the final thirds they want. I don't think it's quite sticking up there as much as they want it to. They're under the reason Sweden has so much of the ball and Denmark are under a bit more pressure than expected is because that ball is being cleared and then not being held up, and then Sweden are just turning it over again.
They're lacking a bit of an exit ball at the moment. When it goes to Harder, she's holding on to it nicely and bringing us into the game. When it goes to Vangsgaard, it seems to bobble around quite a lot. I think that might be the first time I've ever seen someone reading about particle physics on the sideline of in the crowd of a football game. But there you go.
Well, this tournament is full of firsts. We've broken records, and that is a new record broken. The first person to ever study physics at half-time of a football match. Yeah,
that's all.
What an interesting change here. No changes from either side at the break then. Both sides as they were. Sweden need to find something different. Denmark will just want to keep this game rolling as it is and just keep playing the same way. And if they come out of it with a point, then they put themselves in a good position, because then suddenly, Sweden, they're on the exact same record as Sweden with the same teams still left to play. And that's the thing. I think a draw will favour Denmark more than Sweden, but it would basically put a lot of pressure on what happens in the other two games for both sides.
Well, Denmark will be the side to get us back underway in this second 45 here in Geneva. And it'll be Emma Snell from the middle. Can't believe we've gone 45 minutes without making a convention joke. But it will be Denmark to get us back underway. Snell knocks it back. Harry doesn't understand the Geneva Convention, and Denmark got us back underway in this second 45. Ball goes long and bounces out for a Sweden goal kick.
I didn't realise we were in Geneva, but yeah. If I'd known we were in Geneva, I'd probably had to joke about 3 times in the first half. Now I know. We're in for a great second half.
Not a conventional system from Denmark to say. But yeah. Sweden with a goal kick.
Yeah, it's important. This is where the underdog can be most vulnerable sometimes. If they don't start well or get back up to speed at the very start of the second half, so it's important for Denmark to get right back at it.
I saw that with the host Switzerland the other night.
Yeah.
They were having a party, enjoying it being 1-0 up. Suddenly, it was more of a convention. And a miserable one at that. Here comes Denmark, ball to the right-hand side. Thorgerson tries to keep it in play, can't quite manage it. And again for a Sweden goal kick.
Yeah, just a little bit too much on it, but right idea, and important for Denmark to try and get on the ball, show, be a little bit positive in this second half, because, I speak about how they'll be happy with the result, but they also want to win the football match. But they know their best chance of winning is just by keeping things solid defensively and then trying to come forward.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's two different ways of playing football coming together for a really competitive football match. What we'll say here?
Katrina Veyer in possession. Looks to send the ball up the line. Flick on there from Vangsgaard. Drops for Harder. And that's where this combination can work. Harder driving it forwards. Angeldard trying to stop her. Sara at home guard. Overlapping relentlessly. Ball into the box. Overshot though. Anderson heads it away only as far as the edge of the box. But Yanogi stealing it there away from Thompson.
The overlap from Sara Holmgaard off the pitch, by the way.
Yeah.
Love the dedication to the overlap. Brilliant run. Unfortunately, Denmark couldn't make anything of it, and Sweden deal with it well.
I haven't seen anyone that dedicated to the overlap since Gary Neville. Every week.
Terrible.
Bjorn.
Terrible.
Sembrand. Oh, sorry, Lundqvist. And that is a good challenge from Emma Snell to knock out of play. Zyla, welcome to the stream, just says Denmark. I assume that's who you're supporting. What have you thought of the first 45 minutes, Zara? Impressed with how the Danes have held up? Ball out of play. Sweden thrown then on the far side.
Yeah, we've kind of picked up where we left off, to be honest, in that first half.
Yeah, both sides have settled back into the rhythm of the game fairly quickly. And so now the question is, can Sweden break that rhythm? Can they force Denmark out a little bit more, and can they use that space to attack into it? At the moment, Denmark sitting deep is very difficult to break down.
Yeah.
And for Denmark, when is the trigger moment? When do they go for this game, try and get a goal maybe? That is a little bit messy out from the back. And now Sweden could look to create something. Yanogi. Really good defending. That's cleared away.
Yeah, Sweden's better. Sweden need to build up a period of sustained pressure. Just keep overloading Denmark, and then eventually, they should break down.
Shot from range, and that's playing well there by Ostergaard.
Again, another example of how having a top goalkeeper can massively make a difference. Since not only I know she hasn't had too many stops, mate. Obviously, we saw the free kick was brilliant. Was in a couple of other saves here and there, but just the way she's commanded her area with some brilliant punches and claims, just really assertive. Like that one there, just claimed easily. Doesn't fumble it, doesn't drop it, doesn't play hot potato with it, just claims it with 2 hands very comfortably and very, very, assertively. It's exactly what you need.
Now Thorgerson. Karen Holmgard. Thorgerson trying to go down this right-hand side. Yanogi fouls her. How's that been given the other way? That's a really poor decision. Yanogi ran at Thorgerson, tried to just run her off the pitch. Thorgerson just dodges her, and then Yanogi ends up running on, just throwing herself on the floor, and the ref's giving that as a foul against Yanogi. I can't see how that one's been given. Denmark had the ball there. Yanogi didn't even try and play the ball and got a free kick from it. Sembrand. Back now to goalkeeper Falk. Force long again. And that will bounce through to Ostergaard. Great pressure though from Denmark. Forcing Sweden into those uncomfortable decisions. They don't want to go long. It doesn't suit them. But Denmark's press has been excellent. Ball forwards from Ostergaard. And Vangsgaard competing for it there. Loses out though, and that's going to go back to Falk. Passing up to this right-hand side. Lundqvist touch isn't great. Holmgard managing to force an error with the press. Here is Katrina Weyer on the overlap. Vangsgaard unable to find the ball. And now here comes Sweden. Great drive from Angeldal. Out to the right-hand side. Kind of a space to exploit. Katrina Weyer out of position. And here comes Sweden. They've got an overload. Can Connery make the right decision? Goes outside, comes inside, lays off to Angeldal. Big block. And cleared away well by Thorgerson. Just didn't quite get the decision right there. Can't read.
Yeah.
Sweden had the overload. Could make it work.
Yeah, it just took too long to make her mind up initially. Afterwards, she made the right decision to lay it off, but she should have dealt with it or got rid of the ball before that. Angeldal again, the one in space on the edge of the area, but the shot just lacked conviction.
She's not the player you want to pick out in space on the edge of the area. No. That's not a great ball from...
If that's Clarny, it's a different story. Yeah. But, yeah, that's the second or third time that it's fallen to Angeldal on the edge of the area, and the shot's just been a little bit too tame. Trying to pass it into the corners. At this point, just go hard, go low, and get your body over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the longer this stays 0-0, the more the pressure is going to start to mount on Sweden, and the frustration is going to build.
Here's Angeldal. Ball floated forwards. Katrina headed away by Fage. And now Denmark going down this right-hand side. Thorgerson. That's dealt with. Vangsgaard will put pressure here on Falk. And now Sweden can play out. But how many more has Philippa Angeldal got to have before she scores? Third opportunity for her today. Just getting in the right positions. Ulmer. Angeldal. Lifting the ball over the top to this right-hand side. Kano to be hard-pressed to get there. And she doesn't. Out of play for a Denmark goal kick. Just slightly overhit there. From Philippa Angeldal. Conrad, she's had moments where she's looked really good. She's had moments where she's struggled. It's a very typical game for Joanna Ritting-Connery. And Sweden still cheering on their team. That's this left-hand side. Jona Andersson. Maxine is putting Holmgard under pressure there, out now for a Sweden throw. Andersson. Now Ulmer. Flicked on well by Angeldal, unable to make it work. Back out to this left-hand side. Here's Aslani. Back to Jona Andersson. Into the box. Oh. Taken away from the head of Yanogi there. And now Denmark will look to break. Holmgard. Carries it inside, tries to find harder. She wasn't alert to the situation, and Sweden win it hard at the field. Yanogi. Aslani. Yanogi. Nice turn. Oh. Good intervention there from Balesaga. Angeldal. Aslani. Angeldal. Takes aim. Dispatches of it excellently. And Sweden have a deserved leader here. Philippa Angledal, she's had many an opportunity and finally buried one excellently. Denmark 0, Sweden 1. Angledal with the goal. And a really tidy finish from the Swedish midfielder.
Yeah, really good from Sweden. It was going to take a moment of quality, and that's exactly what they got. They just moved the ball a little bit quicker, played with a little bit more pace, a lovely little combination, and Angledal hits this so well. I said what she needs to do, hard, low, and get her body over it. And that's exactly what she's done with this one. Hit it so nicely into the far corner. But it's lovely 1-2 touch football from Sweden to play between the lines of Denmark. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the finish is really, really strong.
And it all comes from this positive touch, and it lays it into Aslani. Aslani lays it back. She takes such a positive touch to take it away from Emma Snurl. It gets a shot away really well. Philippa Angledal with the important goal. Sweden 1, Denmark 0.
Yeah, Sweden were playing well, and all it needed was a touch of class from somebody, and that came from Aslani and Angledal, and they have the lead. That has been coming. They've played well all game, and they've finally got the breakthrough. And now all the questions are going to be asked of Denmark. How can they respond? Can they come out and go for the game a little bit more now?
It's Pernille Harder. Slots the ball through to Vangsgaard towards the edge of the bar. It's going to fall for Emma Snurl, who gets a shot away. Huge from Natalie Bjorn there, clawing at it to prevent it going over the line. Because that might have just squeezed through without that intervention.
What a response from Denmark. Brilliant football down the left-hand side. Lovely link up between Harder and Vangsgaard. Vanguard cuts it back. And Snurl, making the run on the edge of the area, managed to get there in front of Janogy. Well, it wasn't the effort didn't have much pace behind it, but it's really good placement.
It was behind everyone. Was nowhere near it without Bjorn's intervention. That would have been a goal.
Huge tackle.
To level the game up for Denmark, and now they've got a free kick in a decent area. Can they put Sweden under immediate pressure? Sweden's still celebrating. Can Denmark sting them? Snurl over this one. Delivering the ball in. And it's headed up in the air, headed away by Sweden. Janogy will look to break now. Important challenge. And firm challenge from Thorgerson.
Yeah, really good stuff. Really good response from Denmark. Exactly what they needed to do. Try and respond as quickly as possible. And very unlucky piece of top-class defending from Natalie Bjorn. But Denmark now, look, got to come out their shell. Got to come at Sweden and try and get an equaliser here.
Aslani takes it past one player. Takes it past another. Brilliant from Kosovari. Aslani. Where is the support? Tries to find Blackstone. Yes, cleared away by Katrina Weyer. Important intervention again there from Denmark's offence.
Yeah,
Gerhardsen enjoying the football he's watching now.
Tidy. So tidy from Aslani. Rolling back the ears as she just darted past 2 or 3 players there. Unfortunately, the pass didn't quite come off. But this game is now going to play into Sweden's hands because Denmark have now got to go for it. There's going to be space to exploit. There's going to be chances to get in behind it and score a couple more goals here for Sweden.
So it's Aslani over this one now. Can she find a delivery of quality? Delivers it in towards the near post, headed away. And now Denmark could break here. Emma Snurl waiting for support, lays it off to the overlapping runner Thompson, who'll carry the ball forward. Angledal trying to put pressure on a brilliant drive from Thompson here. Now looking to come inside. Does really well. Important and really strong tackle there from Lundqvist. And Sweden now will look to come the other way. Janogy lays it out wide. Aslani back into the wide. Challenge the run of Janogy. Important challenge that from Karen Holmgaard. May have hurt herself in the process.
Game is really starting to open up. End-to-end stuff. Both sides driving the ball forward with purpose.
Yeah.
But now a moment's pause as Holmgaard's down. This is a good breakaway from Denmark. A little unlucky that none of her teammates have just gone with her. Someone needs to support her. Left out, hung up to dry really on that left-hand side with all the work to do. But a big tackle, really good tackle from Lundqvist to get in there and to stop that any threat. Still half an hour to go. It's going to open up. There's goals in this game now. It's just about who they go to. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully Holmgaard is alright. It's the second time she's gone down. It's now the other knee that is causing her issues. Denmark, by the way, they have come with the attire.
I don't know how they're wearing it. It's so hot.
He's got someone's knitted. He's knitted a hat. It's a hat that is red, and then it's got harder written on it in white letters. I like that, and that he's got Denmark sunglasses.
It's got it all going on.
Yeah, honestly, the attire from the Danish fans today has been absolutely stellar.
Also, Sweden are very good at defending transitions. They get good numbers back every time.
Yeah. They've done well.
Denver says Sweden needs a new manager.
It's not going too badly here.
I think Gerhardsen's a stubborn coach, but that's because his way of playing works the majority of the side. 100 kilometres an hour, by the way, that angle dale strike. Absolutely
hit with conviction.
fired into the bottom corner.
Yeah. Great strike. From Philip Angeldal. So Sweden get us back underway here.
Blocked that cross from Janogy. Now it's going to be a corner for Sweden.
This is where I say Denmark have got to react. Surely now you're going to be looking at someone like a Signe Brun to come into this game and try and offer you something. Surely you're looking at Kuhl to come in as well.
Yeah. Well, they are now looking at changes, and that is Katarina Kuhl and Signe Brun. Harry reading the mind of Andre Eglerts there. Aslani delivers into the box. It's a bit of a mess. It's a chance for Sweden. What a block off the line.
Wow.
Aslani towards the back post, out of play.
Well, I spoke about
incredible from Ferguson.
Assertive goalkeeping from Ostergaard, and that was anything far from it. It bounces down to Blackstenius, who should score, but a brilliant clearance off the line to keep this game at 1-0.
Wow.
Superb reactions to claw this one off. Well played. That is
Incredible.
superb defending. And she's done well to not collide with the post either. That is a superb block. And
Harder.
that's got to spur Denmark on.
Ball pumped forward, looking for Vangsgaard.
Yeah, they need something different up front. That's why they're looking at Signe Brun.
I don't think Vansgaard's done much at all today, to be
And
honest.
that's really struggling to hold the ball up there.
Yeah.
Snell. Vaya. That's why to maintain possession now. Snell. Back to Balesaga. And the ball goes long out to this left-hand side, looking for the runner side of Holmgaard. But Aslani. Oh, sorry, Lundqvist sees it out well.
But what I thought that was a slide.
Well, here comes the double change then for Denmark. It is going to be Vangsgaard coming off and Signe Brun going on.
Lots of change. I think
Yeah.
Denmark need a bit more potency up front, and then Hasbo, not Katarina Kuhl.
For Karen Holmgaard. Makes a bit of a like for like, really, in that.
Well, a bit more of a classic midfielder.
Mm.
Rather than Holmgaard, who's more typically a fullback.
So that makes sense.
So, can Denmark make this work now? Can they go and find some attacking output? Lundqvist.
Ponkenburn says another goal, please. We'll see what happens. It's Sweden coming forwards. Ponkenburn, do you want Sweden 2-0 or Denmark 1-1? Who are you cheering on here?
Less than half an hour to go. Denmark got to try and force the issue now.
Mm.
Sweden will be happy to see this out 1-0. They are now going to make some changes.
Yeah, reacting to Denmark's reaction, really, that from Sweden. Fresh legs help just see this result through and potentially add to their advantage. Harder on the ball, intercepted. Sweden are just doing well enough to nullify any threat that Denmark are trying to cause and trying to create.
Well, I think that is Holmberg and Blomqvist, which would be a change up front. It makes sense. I don't think Blackstenius has done well today. And Holmberg, who is a fullback. Which makes sense. I don't think either of Sweden's fullbacks have been able to offer much today.
No.
Both quite defensive players.
Mm.
Ball in now from Lundqvist. Looking for Yonogi. Great ball! And not a bad header, just wide of the mark.
Really good run. Just so able to get in between the centre half and the fullback. On a bit of a diving header. Meets it perfectly. Just heads it past the post. Great movement.
I'd say Lundqvist hadn't done well, and then she puts in one of the best
Oh.
balls we've seen in this game. Great delivery. And Yonogi did well to adjust her position, meet the cross, but couldn't quite turn her header goalwards.
Movement was superb. That
Not
is
bad,
unlucky. Really good stuff from Sweden. And that will be Yonogi's last contribution of this match. A header just past the post as she is replaced alongside Lundqvist.
Yeah, and that double change then coming. So that Blomqvist on for Yonogi, sorry.
Yes.
Fair enough. And then Holmberg on out right back. It's that one not too surprising.
No.
Here comes Sweden. But Rolfo not coming on yet then. So that is slightly more concerning for her fitness. Carnareed. Ball into the box. Looking for Blackstenius. Flicks it goalwards. Not on target and out for a Denmark goal kick. Sweden pushing for a second though, and that's positive. They need to do that. Denmark though, there's not that urgency yet to go for a goal.
They got time. They got time.
That is true.
I think they're just being careful.
I know. Boring. Sort of incautious. Go for the game.
Yeah. Flicked on nicely, but again, Sweden just turning it back. Denmark just cannot get the ball to hold up front.
Brilliant from Stina Blackstenius. And now Sweden. Coming on the right hand side. Bjorn. Headed out for a Sweden throw. And it's Holmberg. Now Carnareed. Aslani. Carnareed. Into Holmberg. Ball into the box, looking for Aslani. Tries to get under her control, but can't. Falls to the edge, and it's struck wide. And then Blomqvist unable to turn that into a goal.
Mm.
Or even trouble the goalkeeper. But nice play from Sweden again.
Yeah, they're moving the ball really nicely now. They're playing with confidence. They're getting more shots off. I think Denmark are just starting to struggle and flag a little bit. But Sweden are noticing that up to 13 shots now. Really they've ramped up the pressure second half. It's exactly what they need to do. Up the pressure, up the quality, and they're reaping the rewards from it so far. But still, over 20 minutes to go. A lot can happen, a lot can change in football. We've seen stranger things happen. So Sweden has got to keep plugging away. And at this rate, I think they will get at least another goal.
Denmark need to take advantage of this, though.
Mm.
Sweden keep trying to come forward. Denmark need to now try and attack themselves. It's been too passive in this game from the Danes. But Sweden, really impressive. Played some nice football. Some nice combinations in attacking areas. Perhaps just lacked the clinicality they would have had. They would have wanted to have. Angeldal got a hat-trick at this point.
Yeah.
I do think Blackstone has struggled a bit, though, to have much impact in the game so far. And Jägerlöf's now with a lot of tactical instruction to his players. With Sarah Holmgard down. They'll use this now. Could this be a pivotal moment in the game? With Denmark just making some tactical adjustments. No, we're hoping firstly that Sarah Holmgard is alright to continue.
Mm.
And the Swedes still in good spirits and good song.
Yeah.
Cheering their team on.
Strong Swedish attendance.
Yeah. It's also, you can see Sweden very well. The yellow is vibrant.
Yeah, I like that. I think they've got they've got so excluding the host nation, I think 80,000 German fans have travelled.
That's no surprise.
40,000 England fans. It's very impressive. And I think it's Sweden next. I can't remember what number, but yeah, Germany out in full force. I'm sure we will see all of them tonight gathering and supporting their side.
I mean, those numbers are huge when you consider that England's a population of 90 million, Germany, I don't know the exact figure, but it's going to be considerably higher than Sweden, I believe. So yeah, really impressive stuff. Angeldal. It's great to see the country get behind their women's side. I mean, their men's side haven't had as much success to speak about.
And obviously we've already,
in spite of Zlatan,
we've smashed the record for the biggest attendance at a women's football game in Switzerland. We had the record broken last night at Spain-Portugal for the highest attendance in a Euros that doesn't involve the host nation, which is very, very strong to see. Germany might go and smash that tonight. Depends how many Poland fans are there. But Germany on their own might just break that. But that was good from Spain and Portugal.
I think we will see that broken quite a few times this tournament, because that wasn't the biggest stadium there is.
Oh,
and
the final.
Yeah.
Will be the big, unless Switzerland there, obviously they wouldn't count. But I don't know. No offense to any Switzerland fans, and not to ruin their hopes of them winning it, but I don't think they're going to reach the final.
Yeah. International football at the moment in the women's game is the big attractor. It's getting fans in. If we could, let's just play national tournaments every summer, get everyone interested, and then we'll go back into a normal calendar. Because at the moment, that interest just isn't carrying over quick enough into the domestic game. Anthony says, why is Ericsson not playing? What does he against Harder? That would have been interesting, yeah. No, as I believe an injury or a fitness issue. Fit enough to make the bench, didn't start though.
Yeah, that would have been a good battle actually. Although to be fair, the way that Denmark front line has played today, maybe it wouldn't have been.
Header flicked on there. Here is Carnereid. Marlon, yes, the two Holmgaard girls are sisters. They're twins actually. Karen and Sarah Holmgaard. Both were playing at Everton. Sarah has now got a move to Real Madrid. Karen has not.
Bit awkward.
I know.
Yeah.
Christmas will be fun.
How's Merseyside? How's Madrid? Two very different places.
Yeah.
Big last 20 minutes now. You know, this is probably the biggest game of the group stage for both sides. If Sweden can hold on to the 3 points here, that would be a massive helping hand. Because then suddenly they'll probably put themselves in a position where if they beat Poland, then they'll be in a pretty commanding position in the group, especially if Poland are to pull something off tonight on their tournament debut.
Ferguson. Well, yeah, that will be a remarkable moment. Poland in their debut European Championships in the women's game.
They might make it one to remember.
Well, I think it'll be a memorable game for them. Whether that's a positive memory or not, we'll have to see what they can do against the Germans.
Yeah, big for Christian Vuk as well. It's his first senior role since, I want to say, 2010, when he was at Holston Kiel. But obviously since then he's just been gone through the youth. So it's a big moment for him. And are we hoping that they will just keep plodding on and looking as strong as they have over the last few months?
He's basically the German Lee Carsley.
They'll be hoping he's a bit better.
Lee Carsley's very good.
He is. But do I think he'd win the Women's Euros?
Yes.
Okay.
I think if Lee Carsley was to succeed Serena, that'd be a fantastic appointment.
Serena will never leave. She's immortal. No. But yeah, I think it's a big night for both sides. I don't think it's going to be as cut and... I mean, I say this now. I said this last night. But I don't think it'll be as cut and dry.
Through Brune running onto it. Good save there from Falk.
I don't think it'll be a cut and dry for Germany as many people expect it to be. But we'll see. Because I thought Spain might have had a bit of a difficult time of it. Because they had omissions and it was Tome's first game at Euros and all that, and then they won 5-0. They were 2 laps, 7 minutes. So
But it's interesting to see how Germany line up tonight. There's so many options. Well, yeah, I think tonight should give them an opportunity to experiment with how they want their lineup to look. They've got the group fixtures in the right order, really, with being able to play Poland first. Similar to Spain, I mean, they can get a nice confidence-boosting win.
Yeah.
From the off. Ball fed through, it's going to roll out of play for a Denmark goal kick.
It just feels like both sides are in management mode now. Although Denmark are now making another change into their front line. A bit of a, just a reshuffle. Is this the go moment now for Denmark? At some point, they've got to go for it.
Yeah, Nadim coming on. For Sada Holmgaard. Pretty much a like for like, I think. We'll see. Nadim is usually more of a striker. So we'll see what happens. This may be the go moment.
Yeah, she's up
two
front.
Forwards now. Trying to piece together what they're doing now.
Sitting so far off Sweden. They need a goal in the next 15 minutes. They're too deep, Denmark.
They've now moved into 3-4-3,
Yeah.
I think. Focusing onto the left-hand side. Thompson, sorry, on the left-hand side.
They need that going moment.
Now here comes Sweden. Good challenge from Katrina Weyer. Now Sweden still looking to create an opportunity here. Angeldal. Twisting and turning. Pokes it to Olma. Now Denmark can break. Snurler. Nadim unable to hold on to that. We'll try and chase down Carnereid, who is brought down. That'll be a Sweden free kick.
Really tidy once again from Sweden's skipper. Very tidy stuff. That's Carnereid. Still, again, tidy from Carnereid. I thought she started pretty positively. It's gone a little bit quiet. I don't think it's on any of the Swedish front three have played particularly well. And then
Carnereid and Inogi both had bright moments.
Yeah.
I think it's the difference.
Yeah. But it's
a bit
kind of
a
been...
flash in the pan.
Yeah. It's been a Slani and Angeldal around the show.
I almost played right, I'd be fair. I think the midfield season's done well.
Yeah.
In this second half, since Denmark's midfield has stopped being so combative, I think Sweden have tired them out, and then they're using the space they've created.
Yeah.
Rod says, "What if Sweden lose to Germany in the group stage but beat them in the final?" Well, that could definitely happen. Chance now bounces through. Sweden wanted to get another shot away, couldn't quite manage it. Denmark now look at a break.
Yeah, just bobbled its way through, really, off numerous bodies through to Ostergaard. Got away one there, Denmark, because all it took was Sweden just to get a little flick on it, and that was 2-0. And that's the problem, is that right now, I think there's more chance it goes 2-0 than 1-1.
Snow. Goes down, and that will be a Denmark free kick. But yeah, they just haven't been able to come forwards particularly well. This was that chance. Snurler managing to get it back to our goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Just about.
Smart as well. Just off the knee, to be fair. Just about. I think that's just about okay. More of the thigh, to be fair, than the knee.
More of a deflection than an intentional pass. Sweden now will look to break. Angeldal. Carnereid. 17,000 in attendance today.
Pretty solid, that.
Definitely. Sweden now in possession. Bjorn. Lundqvist. Sends the ball up the line. Nice control from Carnereid. And now here comes Sweden. Ball clipped towards the back post. Blomqvist and Akers. Chest it down. Blomqvist shot. Blocked and saved by Ostergaard.
How is that not 2-0? Brilliant play from Sweden down the right-hand side. The cross is great. Thought Blomqvist was going to shoot. She ended up taking a really heavy touch into the path. Well, looking to find Black anyway, so it was actually turned back towards her. But back towards Blomqvist by the Denmark defender. And then the shot was blocked, and that took all the momentum out of it. But that should have really been 2-0 Sweden, and that would have been game over. Denmark have got to use that to fuel them and to realise that they need to find a goal. Still over 10 minutes plus additional though. So not out of it just yet.
Yeah. Ferguson. There. Up the line hard, trying to get it under our control. 10 minutes left in this game.
Sweden just doing well just to take the sting out of it. They're still going forward with pace, but when they're not progressing the ball, they are just managing the game really nicely.
Yeah. Pass inside, Angeldal. Aslani can't quite get there. Balenciaga sending it forwards. Now Denmark will look to break. Nadim. Thogerson. Lovely ball. Forwards into Pernilla Harder. Take the bar. Almost magnificent from Harder. Shot now from range for Denmark into the gloves of Falk.
Wow.
Cannoning one off the crossbar is Pernilla Harder. And Denmark unlucky not to score. It was a lovely, well-worked move. Harder cut inside. Struck off the bar.
And that is a warning to Sweden that Denmark still pack a punch. That's what world-class players do. Pull something out of nothing. And Pernilla Harder was inches away from levelling this game up. What a strike that is. Crashes off the crossbar. So close for Denmark. That would have been a sensational strike from a world-class player. But Denmark just showing that they're still in this match and starting to knock on the door. What an effort.
Yeah, indeed. I think Gatot Sobroto is trying to manifest a goal for Sweden in chat, but it's Denmark that went closest there. Pernilla Harder striking the crossbar with a well-worked effort. Now Sweden will play out from the back. Falk. And a double change is coming. That looks like Fridolin Rolfo and Lena Hurtig to me. At a glance. Falk sending it forwards. Headed down to Jono Andersson. Now to play. But Hurtig and Rolfo would assume that Rolfo's going left back then, or perhaps on the right wing. Well, Spartanius coming off for Hurtig. Oh no, sorry, it's not Rolfo. That makes more sense. It's Sofia Jakobsen. Oh, not Spartanius again, sorry. Kosovo Aslani coming off.
Makes sense, just save a manager minutes, save the rest of the tournament.
And Johanna Ritting Karnarid as well.
Not a bad game for Karnarid. Had moments, but again, just that consistency is really lacking from a game at the moment. And performances. You know, it feels like you across the game, you see 15 minutes of brilliance, but 75 minutes of nothing.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because she has the ability to cause problems for any team for 90 minutes. But yeah, opportunity for Hurtig then to come on and just help Sweden see this result through.
But that's good effort, but as Harder looked to pass the ball tonight, similar to Williot for Belgium, where they seem to be trying to do it all themselves. True, when you only get glances, small opportunities, and you're the best player on the team, it kind of makes sense to take them. Well, that is the only time really Denmark have come forwards in the second half. So I can't blame her for trying to strike that one. And yeah, I get what you're saying, Phil, but Denmark haven't had many chances. Not really come forwards. And Vangsgaard has not had a great game, so yeah.
And to be honest, Signe Brun has come on and not really been involved.
No, not really seen it.
But 7 minutes to play, and we still hang in the balance here, really. Denmark have got every chance of scoring.
Yeah. Thogerson under pressure there. Just want to play away from Blomqvist. Forward ball. Searching for Signe Brun. Overhit again though. And Falk will collect the ball up for Sweden. So can Sweden push on for another? Can Denmark find an equaliser?
Now the fans are trying to spur their team on in that Denmark end. They know how crucial a goal now and a point would be from this opening match.
Snurl plays it back. Denmark now working down the right-hand side. Thorgerson lumps it forwards. Signal Bruin can't quite get there. Going to drop now at the back post. Here is Thompson.
Took too long.
Fire a pass there through. No real gap. And now it's a Denmark corner. Mandiri, welcome to the stream with a few interesting emojis. Of penguins and of dabbing.
Fair enough.
Each their own.
Denmark trying to give their team what they need. You feel there's still at least one chance in this game for Denmark to try and level up. Corner put in. Headed towards
away.
goal.
It's going to drop in there for the overhead kick attempt, and Nadim hasn't quite come off. Not really enough power behind that one.
I think it was Penina Harder who popped up with the head up that was blocked. It was on its way to goal. Yeah, Harder just round the back, makes the good run, gets the head across goal. Headed away by Hurtig though.
And I felt like Ramirez is at the Emirates this season, where it just floated in really from the overhead attempt. Coming down the right-hand side now, Denmark. Harder. Headed down by Brun, looking for Nadim, who's over-aggressive
Yeah.
in her attempt to win the ball.
Sit just a clumsy one. Understandably going for the ball, but just kind of lumps into it. Yeah, Penina Harder. That was in. I'll tell you what, Fank would have been in trouble there if Hurtig hadn't managed to head that away and get in front of that Penina Harder header. Glancing it towards the far corner. That was goal bound.
Right header.
Crucial intervention from
Blomqvist finds Blackstenius. Great challenge in there from Fesh. And now here comes Denmark down this right-hand side. Thorgerson does well to get to the initial ball. Under pressure now from Blomqvist. Feeds the ball through nicely into Nadim. Good hold up from the Danish forward. Now needs some support. Opts to go backwards. Fizzed forward by Hasbo. Will drop in there now for Snurl. Can Denmark get the ball ticking over? Veja, Snurl. Ping one out to this right-hand side. If Thorgerson could get that, could be dangerous, but it's over here. Out for a Sweden goal kick. Running out of time now are Denmark.
yeah, going to look to the bench for a final time in this match.
And they seem to be going for it. Sanna Trollsgaard.
How she's wearing a long sleeve shirt, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But Denmark are trying. They're pushing. Why is there an NFL shirt at the football? That should be banned.
But I think Denmark, you look at the subs today and going for 37-year-olds, 36-year-old players, rather than trusting in some of the younger players. Hasn't Nadim come on and really been able to contribute enough? That's the... Yeah.
You look at some of the players left on the bench today. You've got 22-year-old Kramer, a decent season at Bayer Leverkusen. You've got players like Katarina Kuhl who haven't been able to get on.
Yeah.
I do just wonder if Denmark are trusting too much in the old guard. We'll see. Here comes Denmark. Thorgerson just smashes it at the goalkeeper from 50 yards away.
Denmark haven't played badly. They've just not done enough in the final third. They haven't looked dangerous enough. The ball hasn't held up as often as they'd liked.
Change for Sweden as well. Hannah Bennison. Now, if you ask me which of those subs are more likely to come on and score, it's probably Hannah Bennison. That's the more exciting substitution. Blomqvist gets caught out there. It's really well to keep that on there. Apparently not.
Thorgerson, sorry, annoyed.
This will be an opportunity for both sides to make their change. So Snell coming off for Denmark. I don't think she played too badly, to be fair. I thought she battled well in there. Part of a good fight. See what Trollsgaard's got.
Yeah. 36-year-old. Can she come on and make the difference? Angeldal, the goal scorer for Sweden. A live wire in that Sweden midfield. really tidy finish to give them the lead.
Hits it so hard, but so well. And that goal could be the difference between 3 points and 1 point for Sweden today.
Yeah, indeed.
Approaching additional time then. I don't think we'll have too many minutes. We haven't had any major stoppages in this half. Probably 4, 5, I'd guess.
Yeah. Phil says, I think Nadim has that bit of magic in her locker, but probably very rare these days. You know, I've had a kick attempt at like a magician trying to pull a rabbit out the hat, but the rabbit just doesn't appear.
Yeah.
Ball forward, Nadim brings it under her control, gets away from her though. There'll be 9 minutes of additional time in this game.
What?
Still time for Denmark. Dragged down though the Swedish player. Galway says 9 extra time is crazy, yeah. Not sure where they've got that one from. They really just don't want us to have any break between the streams.
But again, I feel like they just do it based on the game. Because I think Spain-Portugal yesterday probably had the same amount of stoppages in the second half, but they had on 2.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
That does, but that doesn't mean we should get 9 here. That's not how it works.
Yeah. I don't know if there's been 9 minutes of stuff, but there's been a few injuries.
9 minutes is
subs.
absurd. Especially when they added 7 on in the first half. That's 16
The
minutes.
first half, though, made sense. There was a VAR
Yeah, it
check.
did,
Took
but,
far too
you know,
long.
the players had to play 16 minutes extra.
Yeah.
Well, Denmark have still got
That's
time
just
then.
Another foul in there from Charles Scard, though. At the moment, Denmark not really using this time.
No. And now Pernille Harder's down injured.
Yeah. Worrying. Just caught there by Hannah Benison. And some discomfort.
Back to her feet now, though.
So yeah, should be alright to continue. So it's a Sweden free kick.
This stoppage is just contributing to more time.
Yeah. Ida will have to come off for a moment after receiving treatment.
Yeah, I think it's just cut her lip there.
Offering out something there to chew on.
Now, we've got at least another 7 minutes, probably reaching 100.
Lundqvist. Misplaced pass, and Bruin can put that under pressure. Bjorn smashes it forwards. But it is deemed to have gone off the pitch. Now Denmark have got to make this happen quickly.
Yeah, they've got time, but that time will slowly run away from them. Will we get our first bout of added time drama in this European Championships? Denmark will certainly hope so.
Balenciaga. Forward pass out of play. And Denmark fans checking their watches. There's those well-dressed Denmark fan.
Yeah.
We've seen them again. With the full Danish suit and the Danish hat. At the moment, it feels like Sweden the one that needs a goal. They're the ones sending the ball forwards.
Yeah. Difficult position Denmark will find themselves in if they don't find a goal. They'll have to, realistically, they'll be in a position where they have to beat Poland and Germany.
Ball played forward, now looking to attack this left-hand side, Denmark. Jimmy's inside, Thompson, can she get a shot away on that right foot? Keeps coming, takes aim. Low driven, but not enough power on it. Saved by Falk.
Yeah, right idea, did go to burst inside. But yeah, just too tame of an effort, really. Either had to get more behind it, or someone like Pernille Harder hit. Had to be smart and just try and flick it on. Would have been very difficult to do so.
Hurtig. Ball down the line.
Good run.
Jakobsen puts it in there. Blackstone's head up. Floats over the bar.
Halfway through additional time then.
Can Denmark get this ball forward? Get another opportunity. Ball lumped long. Sweden who win the header. Denmark win it back quickly though with Trollsgaard. Again, just smashed forwards. They're not winning that physical battle. And a silly foul given away there by Signa Brun, and a header she lost anyway.
Yeah, she has really not come on and made a difference. Vangsgaard wasn't up to the crack.
They're not playing to the strikers.
No.
They're playing to just keep launching the ball at a striker that's going to lose it every time. You're against Sembrant and Bjorn, who are both taller than the Danish strikers options, and they just keep pumping the ball long and then acting surprised when they don't bring it down. I mean, maybe Jeglet's already preparing for having Khadija, sure, but that'd be perfect for Man City. It's not working right now. Benison loses the possession. Now they can come forwards, Denmark. Harder. Carries it well. Switches it to the right-hand side. Bobbling around Nadim. Fighting away for Denmark. Now Thompson. Puts the ball into the box. It's headed away. Veja. Widen to Thompson again. Doing well to see off Lundqvist into the box.
Harder.
Can't turn it goalwards.
Did well to get there, but on the stretch, just skims off the top of her head. And I tell you what, Trollsgaard was lurking at the back post unmarked. I mean, you'd think that Blomqvist would have won the header anyway. No, yeah, Anderson, the left back, would have won the header anyway, but just not happening for Denmark at the moment, and we've only got a couple of minutes to play. We have, let's see what happens. But it's Sweden again bringing the ball forwards. That flick isn't good enough though. Now Denmark do have a throw. They've got to go quickly. Got to keep this moving, get it in play as quickly as possible. That not handball, but Denmark will play on.
Coming forwards now, Denmark. Drops in there for Trollsgaard. Ferguson. Trollsgaard. Out to this right hand side. Anderson trying to see it out into the corner. Now wins it back. And will break away for Sweden. Anderson. Blocked there by Trollsgaard again. That's now a Sweden throw. Trollsgaard. Signa Brun. Harder. Fighting away for the ball.
Just didn't fall for it.
Now Sweden can attack. Blomqvist switches the play. Now Blackstenius. Puts the ball across the box and unable to meet it, Lena Hurtig. So that'll be a Denmark goal kick. They've got 60 seconds to get this ball forwards and try and have one last attack.
Right idea.
What just didn't quite make the right run.
Right idea from Blackstenius.
Aspo wins it back. Can Denmark come forward? Trollsgaard under pressure. Goes down under it subsequently. And Trollsgaard's going to let... They're going to turn this into a free kick routine now. Berge. Denmark getting their players forward. Berge launching it into the box. Over here.
Oh, no.
Over, everyone. And that will likely be their last chance. Sweden now with a goal kick.
Oh, the Sweden fans are celebrating. They know that is almost it. Sent long by Falk. Header one for Denmark. Lead away by Bjorn, and that is the final whistle. Denmark 0, Sweden 1. Yet another game at this European Championships sailed by only one goal. And Sweden with a decisive goal. Philip Angeldal with the important strike. And Sweden with a big 3 points to kick off this group stage. Harry, how'd you reflect on that one for Sweden?
Yeah, exactly what Dr. Order really for Sweden. They knew it was going to be a tough test, knew it was going to be a closely fought game, but their quality came out on top in the end. And that's a really good way to start the tournament. That's a difficult side out of the way, and they know now that if they get the result against Poland, they should see themselves through into the knockouts. Obviously, they'll hope to try and get something from Germany as well. And all eyes now onto the 8-time winners in Germany. They'll be hoping that they can make it a 9th this year, potentially. But they kick off against Davidson's Poland. That is going to be a very good game in an hour's time.
Join us for that. We're back in 40 minutes. It's a very quick turnaround now, thanks to the extensive added time in that one. So we're going to go. But thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you in a bit.